welcome to Garblag Games' Mage the Ascension Masters and Monsters game.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Masters and Monsters, the Garblag Games Mage the Ascension show. I'm Pete, and in a minute we'll go round and everyone tell you who they are, who they're playing, or what they're doing here. But before we do, please don't forget to go and check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We're sharing lots of material on there, mostly on Facebook, while I slowly repair the website. There's a few pages there, but go to Facebook and check that out. Join us on our Discord. There's a link below. We've now got nearly 30 people on the Discord, all joining in lots of conversations, chatting about our shows and the games that we're playing, which is really cool. We also have a Patreon. We're now at 32 patrons. All these lovely people are supporting us and helping us to make it a little bit better for everybody else, from all the kit and equipment that we have to books and dice and things for our games, to make it a bit better for all of you. Thank you very much. We have a Redbubble where we're doing mugs, fancy mugs. Oh, thank you, Adam. Yep. No, that's just a regular mug. And a blank mug. You can get a blank mug if you want.
Garblag Games, in theory, merchandise.
And a notebook. And things like character sheet covered notebook for Dungeons and Dragons, and a few other things. We're going to be doing some more of that in the new year.
Have you sold any pillows yet?
No, I haven't sold any pillows. I'm really annoyed.
But it's a throw pillow you can draw your character on.
Exactly.
Yeah, with a D&D character sheet on it. What else would you want for Christmas?
Where's your character? Well, it's my pillow.
Yeah,
when you run D&D, obviously you need everyone to have the character sheet on a pillow.
Yeah. You can cuddle it. Keep it warm. It'll be good in here.
That's the ultimate decadence of a character sheet. Where's your character sheet on throw pillows?
You can sleep on it while the wizard is picking his
And then you can literally throw your character at someone.
throw your character.
Character fight!
Oh dear.
Okay.
As a TPK, that's what happens.
Yeah, and don't burn pillows. Anyway.
You can stab them and tear them apart.
That's true.
No.
It's the equivalent of tearing it in half.
It's going to be a fun evening and a good
I have
episode.
such a
What
lot to
might
get
be
through.
the last episode.
Such a lot to get through.
We have the big
That I'm not
subscriber
going
giveaway.
to.
I'm not going to go into all of it right now, but there is a link below. The more subscribers we get, go and subscribe, the bigger the prize for one person who comments and likes one of our Masters and Monsters videos or our Flint Steel Season 2 videos. There's loads of stuff. We've already unlocked 2 out of 3 prizes. We need 36 more subs at the time of filming to get to 1,000, which is our goal for the year. Really by the 20th of December for our live show here on YouTube.
Go into before then.
Yes. What else have we got to talk about? I think that's it. Is that it, Roger?
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers
Okay.
it.
So please subscribe to the channel and click the little bell. It gives you a little notification when we do a new video, because we'll be putting up some live videos that'll tell you about lots of other stuff and all our other shows. Anyway, without further ado, we shall begin tonight's fun.
Right, I'm Sam and I'm the storyteller.
I'm Colin, and I'm playing Captain Rufus William Foxmere, the very British Akashic, sorry.
I was thinking you're going to say the third.
The very occasional British.
The very Akashic
It
British.
sounds like the name that would be followed by the
It
third.
does need a
It does,
third.
it
I also like the way you clear your throat just before every time. Sorry.
I'm Adam, and I'm playing Abe Cohen, who's a member of the Society of Ether.
I'm Roger, and I'm playing Private Ron McDougall, the Canadian Verbena.
And I am Pete, and I'm playing Jeremy Cranthorne, who is an Order of Hermes mage and an accountant.
Right.
Nerd.
And talking about out of comfort zone,
Yeah.
last week the characters decided to use a forgotten etherite sort of dirigible type submersible bathysphere thing.
I'm thinking a bit Return to Oz.
Yeah, there's
Brass
definitely elements
and-
of
yeah.
return towards about this. So, yes, the characters descended through the, even in summer, relatively cold Norwegian sea into a submarine bay. There ensued some murdering of sentries and killing of some other things. However, the characters did discover that there was a passageway leading down to where the artifact they have come all this way to secure can be found.
So we went the other way.
So
What's
while-
up, boy? You found something.
So while Rufus and Abe carefully went to recover the artifact via killing the SS guy who'd gone down there first, Ron's dog tried to persuade him that instead it should come with him. He was kind of thinking about going that way anyway to pursue someone that had run away from them. So when the dog said he definitely wanted to go that way, then Ron decided he wanted to go that way. And then for reasons I'm still not 100% clear about, Jeremy went with him.
Jeremy's interested in other things in the facility.
However,
Jeremy may or may not be looking for the new.
importantly, I did get to kill the Nazi.
But he did get to kill the Nazi. He blew his head off quite spectacularly, I think, actually. Yes, yeah. The guy's brains felt like, yeah, it's
Up the wall, then.
which, considering Ron came all this way to the UK to kill some Nazis after all, he has now finally killed a couple, so it's all right. However, they have found in the upstairs room a very large and magical-looking cage containing a really big wolf
That speaks English.
Yep.
and some very brief discussion later. Jeremy informs
I think it might be a
Ron
werewolf.
that he thinks it might be a werewolf. Ron is not really sure that werewolves exist, but it is a bloody big wolf, and that's awesome. And I believe had
I
attempted
wanted
to
to
shoot.
get a Fenris werewolf or
It
something.
is the wolf introduced himself as Fenris's heir,
Yes,
not
yeah.
actually Fenris, which draw your own conclusions.
ties into the whole...
World of Warcraft nerds draw World of Darkness nerds draw your own conclusions. World of Warcraft werewolves could be anything, really, couldn't they? Really?
World of Warcraft nerds can draw your own conclusions as well.
There's werewolves
Well,
there
they're
as
mostly
well, yeah.
sons of Argol. But...
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yes.
But
No,
I believe Ron had taken
yeah.
taken a pot shot at
An accurate shot.
at,
Just bounced.
yeah, an accurate shot at the lock that just happened to bounce. With Jeremy saying it's magic, but he shot it anyway.
Yeah.
The bullet has now.
I actually said it before he shot, but he did it
fair
anyway.
enough. But he did it anyway. So is now ricocheted off the wall, and they are currently having a let it out, don't let it out conversation.
Let it out.
Don't let it out.
You mean, what's that? Let it out. That's all I heard.
Meanwhile, down in the tunnel that is following this, what looks like this old mining shaft, there is a large. You're down at the level where you can see the sort of permafrost, but this ice is too perfect. It's see-through. It's like looking through beautiful glass crystal.
Really cold.
Really cold, beautiful glass crystal, and beneath it is a massive, great. Amber tablet, which is what the characters are trying to recover. There is also a magically ran drill trying to drill through this stuff, which, to be brutally honest, it has made a scratch, but that is literally what it has made.
And then I unplugged it.
For many weeks of running, and then Colin unplugged it. So, and Abe, I believe, was having a look at it and has discovered, entwined within it, some amber beads that Rufus would rather like.
Yes.
However...
Isn't Melania with us? Was she with them?
Yeah, no, Melania is with you as well. She is currently sort of keeping an eye out down the tunnel, making sure nothing comes up and shoots you, while you two do other things.
And that's Gabriella, Celestial Chorus.
Yes, she is indeed. Knights of St. Gabriel. Right, and Rufus has seen a hand coming up towards him through the ice, which he has put his hand down to take, which, as we have mentioned, is extremely cold.
Therefore, possibly not the smartest thing Rufus has ever
Possibly
done.
not. But, you know,
As long
really...
as you don't, like, get your tongue stuck to it. We come in and you're like...
Yeah, no licking.
Very painful.
He licked the permafrost. No, do not lick the permafrost. Right.
Lick it.
I am not licking the permafrost.
Well done. No licking of the permafrost.
I may
going
still
on here
need
tonight.
magic to get my hand off this thing, but...
But no licking. Marvellous.
No worries.
It's all good. You've got a life, mate.
He's got a bayonet.
You've got a life, mate.
I
He doesn't
don't
really
think
know what he's doing.
bayonet's
You've
going
got a
to do
life,
for
You can get your hand off the ice.
Oh, be fine.
Warm it up.
wasn't doing anything.
Very true.
Well, lick it.
Right.
Yes, we turn the drill off.
Just cut your hand
You
off.
turn the drill off.
He could cut my hand off. On the other hand, hopefully one of you has forces and could warm my hand up.
That is also possibly true, but, you know, dull. Right. He also has matter and can do something about it. as
Anyway.
well. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That's fine,
aside
just
from
lick it.
you are currently not stuck to the ice, so it doesn't matter. You're not stuck to the
I
ice.
haven't tried to take my hand away yet, so I don't know.
Well, there are worse things. in the Nazi base, with all the crazy magical artifacts, there are probably worse things than fusing a bit of skin off your hand.
That's true. That is also very true. Right.
It's not like
Anyway,
the highest peril.
you can see a hand coming up to meet yours. And
Really chafed the skin in my hand.
yeah,
You're killed by a nuclear
It's a really
explosion.
dangerous mission.
you two come back and been mauled by a werewolf.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Right. So this hand comes up to meet yours. You put it down. For a millisecond, it's really, really cold. And then you feel basically another hand touching yours.
Okay.
And as you almost sort of take the hand and pull it back up, you realise that basically almost sort of rising out of the permafrost itself is the woman you saw in that flashback dream when you were on the battlefield.
Okay. So a previous version of my
Previous
my twin.
version of your twin. So she is relatively small. She's got very, very sort of light-coloured hair and very, very light-coloured green eyes. She's wearing armour. It's leather armour, but it's beautifully, beautifully tooled leather. And because at the time you had other issues, like the fact you were kind of bleeding out the bottom of your lung, didn't see much of it. And basically it's a wolf and a stag rearing up at each other as the central motif on the leather armour. And all the rest of it's covered with beautiful, beautiful detailing. It must have taken somebody hours and hours, hundreds of hours of their lives. She's wearing her hair in a braid backwards, and she's got, it's sort of a mace, basically, a very large, heavy-ended weapon with sort of studded rivet sections coming all the way out of it. Round her neck is a sort of ghostly, I mean, she looks solid, but there's a sort of ghostly shadow of this necklace around her neck, this amber beads.
Yes.
As you slightly sort of go, ooh, and step back,
Okay. Yes. I'll
you
step
realise
back
that standing next to you where you already are is your avatar stroke ghost stroke other problem. Which looks like the young woman who was killed before, unfortunately, she could awake and meet you.
And be her.
And be her. So the three of you are standing there, and Abe is continuing to do Abe things at the moment.
Hey, could you get those beads out?
Yeah, I'm on it, don't worry. They'll be out in
Probably
just a
kind of
second.
important. Hello. Both of
I should have said you could see them as well. You can definitely
You?
see them as well. Yes. Says, we shall call her Freya, I think, because that is probably the best bet. Freya says yes. Both of us. So, she looks around. I see, okay, this is where we've got to. So,
yeah.
we're here because it's time you made a choice. There are two ways we go at this point, says the other one, coming to stand next to you. Either there's a lot of badness up there, you know there is. Nazis, they're soldiers, they're sympathisers. There's probably a Nephandic master coming in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do something foolhardily just for my sake. But if you're looking for an opportunity to join me so our avatars can go forward together, then this is probably the best chance you're going to get. Freya sort of almost literally sort of moves her out the way and says,
Sorry, which ones?
We are calling the one in the armour Freya.
Okay.
The other one, I think we've gone for Gale, hadn't we, I think?
I can't remember.
Right, she is Gale.
That'll do.
It is now.
That is Gale that was talking to you before.
Okay.
Freya almost sort of slightly shoves her and says, or there's another option. When you and I were born, the avatar that was meant for one of us was split for both of us.
Yeah.
And that was brilliant. We did, I know you don't remember all of them as clearly as I do, but we had a lot of fun. Us and our friends, she gestures in the direction of Abe. We hunted, we fought, we ruled. We had a lot of fun, all of us did. And the bond between our avatars will always exist, but you know what? Let's try going it alone. Break the bond. See if the avatars are strong enough to make it as separate ones. We'll always be entwined. We'll always be here. We'll always be brother and sister. But let her go. Let her move on to her destiny, and you stay here, do your damnedest to survive and find yours. Be brave. Quick and clean. Gale then slightly shoves her. That's a lovely idea. We have no guarantee that would work. Or it might shatter all of the avatar bits to 1,000 fragments. Neither of us might ever have anything to go on to anywhere else. It's too dangerous. Just finish up here and come with me. That's all you need to do. Right. And how's Abe getting on with the beads?
Well, I've wired it all up. I'm going to attach it with wire, and I'm going to give him a bit of wire to hold with his other hand.
I'm probably too distracted to even notice what I'm being handed. So
Hold this for a minute.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What are you actually doing?
Well, he's got like a resonance that's probably pro these beads. You know?
Yeah, almost definitely.
So I'll use that to make them all drop out the bottom of the machine.
Okay.
Basically, I want to take his current, whatever his resonance is, do the opposite of it, and then all the beads should shoot out or fall out or something.
Okay, alright. You can see this, even though you're a little bit distracted, he perhaps doesn't. I don't know. He looks like he's
So while I'm sort of
normally a
carrying
bit
it
more
up,
cautious than that.
Well, given that he's trying to do the opposite of my resonance, which is deliberate.
That's right. That is very true. Right, how did that go?
2 successes.
Right, marvellous. There is a clattering noise from inside the machine. Clatter.
Keep it going.
Both of them are now looking at the machine. We need our beads, either way.
So death by Nazi or probably self-kill got it.
No! Says Freya. Cousin, stop being an arse. It's the only chance. It'll be time to see.
Right.
Lived enough lives tied to each other's apron strings. You're always difficult.
I don't know. Is it a string or is it a large blood vessel?
We're not identical twins, obviously. Right. There is a clunk, 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 click, 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 and then a whole ton of amber beads fall out the bottom and go everywhere.
Right.
And both of them start scrabbling for the beads.
Well, there you go.
And Gail has got quite a few of the beads, and then Freya shoves her and to try to get her beads, and they're both scrabbling around for
They're
beads.
both scrabbling around beads. I'm going to try and gather up the beads and pick them up, because otherwise we're going to have an embarrassing cat fight between the two versions of my other avatar.
Right. You start grabbing the beads as well. Are you going to join in this whole bead nonsense, or are you...
Just sort of awkwardly ignoring it.
No. I'd be like, well, this is kind of funny.
Point and laugh, babe. Point and laugh.
Sorry?
Got some measuring device.
You feel you need popcorn.
No, I'm going to get back to working on the drill, but
This is a bit weird.
I could probably, knock them together, pull them together, but, if you guys are having fun there, it looks like you're working out some issues. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, what I've heard in the past, if you try to split the avatars in your kind of situation apart, I don't know of a situation where it's gone well, but maybe you'll be the different one.
Shut up, Braggy.
But, at the same time, I wouldn't normally recommend getting yourself killed by just charging at a bunch of Nazis.
Right.
Are they taking you in turns to tell him to shut up?
Yes, pretty much. You gather a fairly large collection of the beads, and they've both got a few beads, some of the beads each, and you've got the rest of the beads. The beads are now all sorted.
Do you want some string?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Or wire? What do you think I'd go with it? Copper wire? Or do you think it's too clashing
Copper
colour
wire.
wise?
No, copper wire would be nice. Thank you.
So I'll hand them a small reel of copper wire.
Freya begins stringing them. Bad. Give me yours. No, give me the wire. No, give me yours. Fine, you do it.
Okay.
Let us go.
I'm playing with the drill. And the drill bit.
Drill bit's diamond.
I'll take that out.
Pocket
Also, this being not diamond tip, it is just diamond.
pocket it.
Probably.
For research, he's not going to like flog it or anything.
Totally.
An aetherite that's got a diamond drill bit. No, an aetherite's keeping the drill bit.
Might make a ring or a necklace out of it.
He's probably keeping the drill
In
bit.
case you ever need a drill bit.
Can't we use it on the Nephandi?
So,
This
anyway.
poor guy's going to have so many things stuck in him randomly. Right.
I'm not sure
You
poor
came up with
guy
them.
is one of my
I'm also not
ways.
sure randomly. We are going to be
No.
deliberately.
Quite deliberately, right.
Anyway, yes.
Oh, well, no, biscuits. Anyone want a biscuit?
So, yes, I would. Hey!
We appreciate that look really weird on camera.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, it must disappear
And then
appear.
reappears
Slightly odd.
there.
Looks like you're throwing it to the viewer.
It just fits there when we.
Yeah.
Kind of,
It's a very
This is
odd.
the part of the episode where Sam tries to figure out where to
Which-
point
which-
her fingers.
Basically, I'm looking at myself as a mirror image that doesn't move in the correct direction. It's a nightmare. Right.
hi.
Collins, that one.
Yeah.
Well, done.
Roger. Yeah.
These ones are easy, yeah.
Anyway, the basically goes standing in front of
I'm
you.
going to have that later. Yes. Okay, so we're starting to put
Girls,
this.
just come. You've lingered too long already. We need to be going. She's talking nonsense.
Maybe she's talking sense. Maybe there is something bigger
You
we could do.
can't know that.
We can't know a lot of things. We can't know that next time's going to be any better. The time after that.
The choice is yours. I can't tell you what to do. Whereas I, however, can. And she's quite. Yeah. Let's do this.
Glorious.
Come on.
Let's see where this takes us, I guess.
She holds out her hand for her beads.
I hand her the beads.
Right, you hand her the beads. Right.
Time to release the hounds.
Right. There is a sort of. You feel briefly like you've suddenly just been hit with all the cold that you thought you'd missed being near this thing. It's like suddenly there is an icy blast in front of you. Gale just sort of fades out. Freya stays standing in front of you. But as she looks up at you, it's almost like you can see Gale superimposed on her. And they both look at you and say, "See you next time, brother." Pass me your carrot sheet. I need to make some minor alterations.
I thought that was pass me your carrot sheet. You're dead.
Pass me your carrot sheet.
So-
Scissors.
So you
That
have,
would mean.
Oh, hang on.
so you have at the moment, it may be redeemable later, but at the moment you have lost a point of avatar because you've got less of it, but you have gained a point of arete and you're not dead.
Hey!
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Adam, make a perception and awareness roll.
I feel the disturbance.
Well, actually, I was making a decision. I would have set up a few instruments to, record it. Probably, taking a photo. Tried to take a photo at one moment.
There's many times you get to see something like this.
I think it was lower than 6. It was a botch. Sorry, higher than 6. It was a botch.
No, it was relatively easy, but yeah.
Was it 4?
Yeah, actually, it
Oh,
probably
then it
was.
would have been 1.
Right, so there has been a definite seismic shift in whatever his own internal avatar relationship and however you think of that is. Has occurred. At the moment, he looks fine.
Well, at the moment he's probably staggering and coughing.
Yeah, at the moment he's staggering and coughing and his
He'll get over it.
breath steaming quite a lot.
It's alright, he'll walk it off.
Yeah, he's only levelled up.
Is she
Just
fading
walk it
away before I can recover? Because
No, you can probably say something quickly.
Go on then. Go be awesome.
Right, she grins at you and they both disappear. And you and your avatar appear to be intact.
Hey.
A point of
Mostly.
it shuffled off with her, but yes. Also, when you both look down, the permafrost has melted down to the amber tablet and it is now pickable, uppable. About 40 centimetres of water, basically, sit on top.
Okay.
Malame's like, are you having fun back there? Because she's gone slightly around the bend. I felt something weird happen.
Yep, something weird happened.
Bruce just decided to, take a risk his avatar might explode.
Oh, good. Guess it didn't. I think I'd have heard that.
Not yet.
Anyway, you got the bloody tablet. We need to get gone.
Yeah, we can, we can get at it. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to shift.
Yeah.
Right. All right, I'll come and help. Right, you hear the sound of her footsteps coming towards you. Right.
Yeah, we need a sank barrel or something.
Unless you two have immediate questions, we shall leave you looking at a giant
I'm
tablet
trying
of
to figure
amber.
out how to move half a ton of amber.
Amber. Yes, right.
Forces that matter.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Which I have, but not at a level I can do anything useful with.
You have an etherite, though.
Who has matter?
Might matter.
I have both.
I'm just also wary of using matter to affect this thing.
Sure,
because
sure.
it might either not work or do something weird or...
Either way, we shall leave you two with your half-ton problem. Right, you two with your rather more pertinent problem. So the bullet crashes
It's another
into...
half-ton problem.
To be fair, it's a conservative estimate.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Muscle is heavy.
Release the dog. Release the dog.
Right, so the ricocheted bullet has buried itself in one of the few machines that still had blinky lights on. It now doesn't have any blinky lights on.
That looked like that machine was really important.
Ah, well.
It goes... Faint smell of sort of hair burning.
Does it look like it's like aggressive and ready to pounce, or is it kind of sitting there?
It looks pretty fed up. It's definitely pacing. It doesn't look like it's about to imminently pounce.
How can I let you out?
Right. So the awful ones that
What assurances do we have that you're not going to attack us as soon as you jump out of that cage?
I told you. Have you wronged me or killed my kin?
No.
Up there is full of people that have.
Very well. Very well. You can just follow behind.
Right. He looks down at...
everything up.
You remember how you see things with subtitles at the
Yes,
moment, don't you? 'Cause
yeah.
your mind effect on.
Yeah.
He looks down at Ollie. Ollie, the dog, does not normally have subtitles even when you have that effect up because he's a dog.
Yeah.
He doesn't have language.
I haven't registered it that
No.
That's what he wants you to believe.
yeah.
But whoever this creature is sort of makes some sort of small noises in the back of
Yeah.
his throat towards Ollie.
Mhm.
And between the two of them, you start to get a very strange, it's almost sort of not even, just very short little words, mostly with little
After.
pictures coming up. And what he said, we shall call him Fenris for now. He said he's not
Sure.
the Fenris, as it were. What Fenris says is basically big wolf, small wolf, spirit wolf.
Couple box.
What Ollie says back
Yeah.
is small wolf, spirit wolf, and then you see Ollie sort of do that, and it says small wolf, spirit wolf, humble.
Okay.
And then the large, then Fenris says
Yeah.
human with a question mark.
Yes.
And
Is he looking at either of him?
him.
Yeah.
And Ollie says
Kill him.
Why? No.
This doofus has been following me around
Ollie
for too long.
Ollie says little wolf, spirit wolf, human brother.
Ah, okay.
The big wolf says big wolf, little wolf, spirit wolf, brother. The Ollie says little wolf, spirit wolf, grateful.
Cool. They're making friends.
Good boy.
I just said you're okay.
Of course he did. Ollie's awesome. But so's the big wolf. How do we let it out?
So he says
Didn't realise your dog.
your friend has spoken
Anyway.
for you. There's a panel with dially
I'm a
things
bit
down
worried
there.
that I wasn't
See
mentioned
little
in that
knobs
conversation.
that are twisted there?
What, on the cage?
Yes, on the
This one?
yes, on that panel thing.
Right, yeah.
It was something definitely involving the knobs. They have to reach the right numbers on the dials, I think, to open it.
Okay.
And then it lets down. They've got one of their force fields because I think you'd had sensor out when you come
Yes,
up in this
I
room,
had,
hadn't you?
yeah,
And
yeah.
basically, there's
It's like a weird.
there's a forces and spirit effect on this. Basically, is what's
Okay.
keeping him stuck in there.
Okay.
And you are placed with a series of 0 to 9 numerical.
0.
We can go to 11.
It doesn't go to 11.
Mm.
Yep, 0
Turn it
doesn't do
down.
anything.
No? Okay.
1.
There are like 10 of these dials. He's going to be there all night.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Fine,
Nothing.
I'll let him.
1, 1, 1, 1,
Felt like
1, 1.
fun.
Oh, so it's more like a safe.
It's more like a safe.
Yes,
Yes,
it's like a combination lock.
Okay.
Yeah. 10
Can I
numbers.
use forces to try and work it out?
Can I use academics or investigation to think, have we come across any kind of code that's been written in anything that we've seen from this guy?
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can do that, and you can try forces in the meantime. So roll me your arete.
Difficulty?
At the moment, you're just sensory, so difficulty's 4. So you're just looking.
Then 3.
3.
Difficulty?
7, probably.
Okay, so 2, 3. 3 nines.
Marvellous. Right, okay.
I think you need to use these knobs.
So, there is a... Yes, basically they are linked to the forces effect that's linked on the thing. From the forces sensory, you're not going to be able to entirely get the code off, but you think you see how the thing works. So, I mean, he can try and play on the code, but basically what there is there is some sort of small... Whether your character perceives it as a battery, because he's still a bit novel about magic and new at magic and things, but there is something in this console that's actually sort of acting as the power source to keep this thing up. And you're pretty certain if that's disconnected, the vast majority of it's going to go down. This thing looks pretty solid. Shooting bits of it has so far not worked very well, but if it can be successfully broken, you might be able to get to the power source. For 3 nines, you did come across this when you were helping the unfortunate sort of zombie-type soldier thing.
Yeah,
'cause 971 had some things on him, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And you do remember seeing... Do you remember there was like one of those sort of countdown number books that was encircled? You think you remember this.
Okay.
So you can start twitching them. Right, he starts pulling the dials. And
I do actually have eidetic memory.
You do. Yeah. So he
There you go.
looks like he knows what he's doing. And you can see,
no,
as he goes to each one, you can feel like the power level's going down.
I know numbers.
Let the accountant do numbers.
Right.
Saves the world.
And there is a noise. And I mean, the cage is still locked, but clearly something's happened, and he starts pushing against it, and you can sort of almost shoving with his shoulder, and you can
Can I
see the
kind of
metal buckling.
Try and
Yeah. Yank
help him?
it. Yep, okay, make me some sort of strength and smashy things roll.
Athletics?
Yeah.
Strength and smashy thing. Have you not got the smashy thing skill?
I don't know,
I would
like
have thought you'd have
brawl or
like
something.
5 in that. Oh, blimey.
No, I don't help.
No.
Complete inverse of last time.
I really don't help.
Yeah, right.
I'm helping.
You're pushing it in, yeah? That's where we're going.
I'm no help in this kind of situation.
He says to Ollie, you were going to get things come out.
Can I use forces
Can
to
there, is there like
physically
a
damage
really
the lock?
obvious like latch or something?
No, but I mean, there was a key lock on it. No, but it looks like he's
Okay.
bending it, basically.
Can I use forces
Just
to
stand-
basically weaken the metal?
You don't need to. As at that moment,
Oh.
basically, he does a few steps back and just goes thud into it. The door comes flying off. The door, now released from the fact... I mean, this is a very, very sturdy thing. This is the thing they use to transport, like, fucking elephants, if it's like.
Yeah.
It goes flying. It smashes into a wall about 3-4 metres away, and knocks bits of the concrete off, makes a god-awful noise, unfortunately.
I don't think he cares. I think he wants.
Nazis are that way, I'll say, pointing at the door.
And he comes
I'm going to try
bouncing
and
out of
like
the cage.
completely look totally unfazed at the giant door flying across the wall, but there's just like sweat dripping
Ron
down my
probably
face.
has glee across his face.
Yeah.
Big dog!
I'm just pointing as well.
Yeah, the Nazis are that way.
Right.
I think this bit's throwing a grenade through the door.
Right.
A werewolf through the door.
He sort of seems to... in fact, if anything, out of the cage, he even looks a bit bigger now. He can actually sort of
Does he
shuffle.
look hurt?
He's got a wound on his left flank, but it doesn't like it's bothering him.
Can
but
I
it's
try
definitely
and
there.
help?
Are you going to ask him
Yes.
before you touch it?
Can I help you with that wound?
If you can do it quickly. Right, he leans into Ollie again, and they begin talking again.
While he's doing that, he's given me permission, so
Yes.
I'm going to try knife magic.
Ollie's a good boy.
Yes, big
I'm
wolf.
saying that as their...
Yes, big wolf grateful. Small wolf, spirit wolf did very well. Small wolf, spirit wolf, says Ollie is happy to help. Wolf, wolf, spirit wolf, humans, brothers.
More than one.
big wolf.
Ah,
This time,
I
it's
got to
humans.
mention that time.
Big Wolf's brothers. And Big Wolf and then Fenris says,
I think Big Wolf works as a name.
Big Wolf, Little
Big
Wolf,
Wolf,
grateful.
2 successes on life
Simplest rule of
magic.
D
Right,
name.
okay.
Life 2.
Again, you're still kind of this magic thing, but these things feeling this. Obviously, it is alive. You can use
Well, kind of in combination with my first aid.
your
kits
first
and
aid
everything.
stuff start to heal it, but just it's just got so much life in it. This thing, it's just a wellspring of
See,
it.
I told you we should let him out.
Right.
I'm just kind of like, we need to get out of the way while
He's
it
like-
comes.
You
I'm
said that
passing him
way.
up while he's doing that.
That way.
Yep, that way. I will say, pointing at the door.
Just. Are you going that? You stay that way. When the red mist descends, it gets a little tricky sometimes. So, don't smell of humans too near for a bit.
Ron looked quite sad. Right.
I step back immediately.
Do you want
Enjoy.
me to get the door for you?
After you.
Before it does it, checks it, and you now see, because it definitely is changing shape. Its fur starts laying down, and you can see it's got a series of necklaces round its throat. Whether it was almost trying to hide them when it was in the cage, I'm not sure. And it reaches up the paw, and as it does with the paw looks slightly more hand-like. It looks like it's got longer manipulators. And it takes a thing that looks like a very, very long, sharp tooth and gives it to you.
Thank you. That's pretty cool.
Should we not meet again, my tribe will know that means you did me a great service.
Oh, thanks.
Right, and goes herring through the door.
Bang, bang, scream, roar.
Bang, roar.
And you said we
Some
shouldn't let him
screaming.
go.
Yeah, the classic kill the person who's got this. They know too much. Fang. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've given. Ah!
I'm sure
It's
he's
like the letter, isn't it?
I'm sure he's not lying.
Kill who's giving you the letter.
No, Ollie is super excited and keeps like, no, look what we did.
I'll put it in my pouch for now, because...
That's pretty awesome.
Right, well, it said that we probably shouldn't go that way. We
Why
should
don't we
probably
just
go
wait
check...
5 minutes and then go
There's
and see
some
what's down the corridor?
gunfire and then there's a scream.
Uh,
From further, you guys
I'm
can't hear
gonna,
this.
I'm
Two
gonna
girls have gone great.
shut the door.
Yeah.
Is that the only entrance into the rest
that's
of the
way
base?
up to the rest of the
Let's go
complex.
back to the others.
I'd say this definitely looks like the main lab
And I'm just
space.
gonna
I'm
shoulder...
gonna have a rummage around.
I'm
I'd
just
say
going to start walking
as
back,
I said,
or
the
jogging to
corner-
the others.
the corner where there's all those crazy scorch marks all the way up the wall.
Yep.
It still looks in a lot of disarray. Again, you know, you're more the sort of numerology and that kind of stuff ends of House of Order of Hermes, but you're not necessarily a technomancer.
No.
But even you can tell these bits are not part of mundane things. There are a few things here that you think should probably be looked at, possibly by the Aetherite or somebody like that,
Okay.
or taken back to Harry. There are definitely a few bits of hypertech in here, but it looks like the Frenchman did a pretty solid job on blowing up the work when he did it.
I will pick up the bits of hypertech, and after a moment, sort of looking at the
gonna stop
shut
just
door
outside
where the
the-
werewolf went, and then across at Ron.
Ron's already left.
Ron's walking towards the door, pulling out hand grenades.
I'm then going to
the
walk
door
after
doesn't
Ron.
Well, is Ron following the werewolf, or is Ron...
No,
Ron's going the other way.
But he's going to chuck some hand grenades behind him.
Yes, that seems
Yeah, and
entirely
I don't
sensible.
want to be in the room when he does that. So I'm going to suddenly catch up with.
Well,
hey, Ron.
they know we're here. Click, click. Shut other door and go down towards where they are.
Right.
Let's hope the werewolf hasn't come back to see
You
how you're doing.
might notice we're done.
Look at this thing.
Right, there is a...
What is
like,
it?
I haven't got a clue.
the earth
But I
rumbles
think
where you
Abel
guys
like
are.
Cool.
I think we should get...
Big roar followed by
No,
bang,
but we-
bang.
Yeah, we need to think faster.
Yeah, okay, how
What
we-
happened, sorry?
There was like a
explosion.
rumble, and it felt like even the earth was shaking down here. Probably some little rocks fell off the wall.
Alright.
How do we move this thing?
Well, is there any kind of anything down here to move in? You might have been optimistic.
There's like that sort of almost sort of fireman's hose heavy duty like netting. but there's not anything to pull it with, if that makes sense.
No. Do we turn up at that point, or
It's going to take you a little while because you were doing that while they were doing this to some extent. So we'll give them a few minutes thought to process, and then you guys can go join them. Then something else is going to happen.
Oh.
Awesome. So,
Yay.
what can you do to help get? Can you do anything to help get this out?
So necklace is gone, isn't it?
Necklace is gone.
And it's still like in a pool of water.
It's in a pool of
Yeah,
water.
it's in about but like that
Water.
much water. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still enough, like a bunch of ice around it
Yeah.
that the pool of water's in.
Yeah.
The water would go away.
Yeah. No. But there's a clear margin. You're not going to need to scrape anything through the ice.
Okay, well, is it light enough that I could
Can you use the water?
I was going to try practical means first, just like lever it out. Or is it too heavy?
No, you can probably leave her out. I say it's amber is heavy, but it's also particularly in large lumps, even when magical, a little bit fragile and things. But yeah, it's heavy. But mind you, your strength is rubbish, isn't it?
No, it's average.
Okay, it's only
My
average.
dexterity is rubbish.
The three of you with Malena, if you get it in the net, could probably... It's going to be sort of drag rather than carry, but you could probably move it.
Okay.
Well, I might as well do it that way, I think, because rather than trying to...
Yeah.
I don't want to try doing anything hugely
Yeah.
risky around it, because I'm not quite sure how
Could
it
you
react.
harden the net or something so that it can avoid it scratching on the floor?
Yeah.
Right. You're going to do some working on the net.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be doing something. I might as well... There's a bunch of ice in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I might as well make some sort of sled out of the ice. Memories of Hannah. But yes. You did ice magic for that, didn't you? Yeah, lots of ice.
so
things.
not
Yeah, a friend
frozen
of ours
ice.
decided to make an ice...
Cool. And that would slide as well, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Right.
great.
Okay, make me some
She
form
wasn't
of...
always in control of it when she...
I presume...
Okay.
As I said, this is that you are not doing this with like a chisel and a pick. I presume.
No,
This
no.
is magic.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Hang on, give me a couple of hours.
Yeah, no.
So give me a matter roll.
No, I'll put the drill back together and I'll have that do it quickly.
Yeah. Okay.
From different angles in some way.
Yeah.
Since I've got a piece of equipment to do it in here.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try anyway.
Difficulty 5 for this one.
Nope.
You can have another go before you run out of time or energy.
The 1 and the 8, they don't work too well together.
No. One more go because yes, you can just sit.
That's better.
Right.
3.
All right. Yes. Right.
Took me a minute to get it going.
Took a minute. The drill sort of conked out the first time round,
Yeah.
but the second time round, because he's kind of converted it into like a sort of hand thing, and he's moving it about, and the sort of ice sledge pops out of the ice when he's done.
But yeah, when I get it going, it just goes cleave stock and...
You know, it's like when people see
Goes
you
through
see
like
people
butter.
cutting sheet metal, you don't necessarily know what it's going to be until it falls outwards and
Okay.
it flops out as a ice sledge.
Okay.
Yes, my
And
deck might
Malane's
be
like,
rubbish, but I do
that's-
3 machining, so...
That's an ice sledge.
Could be useful.
Let's haul it on. Right, the three of you sort of haul it onto the
Trying
ice
to make
sledge.
it so that, you know, it won't immediately
that's when
melt,
we
so I don't know
arrive.
what temperature it is.
Yeah.
I presume
Nice
so.
sled.
Plus, I say, it's permafrost
Everyone
ice.
picks
It'll
it up.
last for a long,
Well,
long
this.
time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's not that warm down here. You're below ground level in Norway.
Yeah, I
Even in
know.
July, it's pretty chilly.
But, you know, I don't want it just entirely melting if we do go into, like, a
No.
warm room.
Probably wouldn't want it in the salt water for a long while, for obvious
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
But yeah, you can make it more hardy.
Yeah.
Right, you two come back to the room where you'd killed the previous guy. You remember I said it was like sort of
Yes.
lobby type bay.
Yep.
You can see the direction those guys went.
Oh yeah, we are jogging. So.
Yeah. As you go past the jogging, you go past
Well,
a
I
dead,
am.
the
I'm jogging.
dead SS guard, who Rufus and Malena killed, and then jog around the corner, and you can see these guys and Malena pulling a fucking huge amber tablet on an ice sledge,
I use the netting as a rope.
using the netting as rope.
So, we found it.
You went full Norway.
It works.
Yeah.
Sam, do I think I could make either me stronger or the amber lighter so I could just pick it up?
You could. The trouble. Actually, you could do all of those things. These guys seem a bit edgy about doing magic around this
Directly
thing for
to
some
it.
reason.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm asking you. To be honest, Ron still has no idea, so he's not thought to ask them.
No, exactly. So these guys seem a bit funny about it. Honestly, it's moving all right at the moment. You can.
Well, you know, it just seems so inefficient dragging it when you could just kind of pick it up.
So are you doing it or you?
Me.
So that will be difficulty 5.
3.
Right. You sit there and do whatever you think you do. Ron thinks he does when he's making himself stronger.
Some push-ups.
Gun show.
stretching, warming
Yeah,
up.
sort of. Right. I've got this.
Hulking out. You don't realise that you're like 8 foot tall.
Ollie seems to like the sledge. He's like,
So then, so you pick up the and then Ollie gets in the sledge.
there was a werewolf.
Careful with it, don't.
What? Okay. Where's the
Fenris.
werewolf now?
Werewolf?
Where? Is it now?
Upstairs killing Nazis.
It was cool.
Good.
How
It was
heavy
very
does this thing
dangerous
feel
and
to me now?
It only didn't kill us because it didn't.
you can still feel it's enormously heavy, but
Yeah,
you're
if
now
it's
enormously
people
strong.
killing-
So
If it's up there killing Nazis,
So can I just kind of tuck it under one arm?
yeah, it's
Let it carry on with that,
it's
absolutely.
quite big. So it'll
All right,
be
I'll
sort of
kind
like
of-
that, or possibly put it in shoulder.
All right, over one
It's
shoulder.
quite big though.
One
yeah.
side, and I'll just pull out, hold a pistol.
just in case.
Do you want me to set off an explosion behind you?
Yes.
Luckily, there are
Right.
explosions. Right, there is another crash
Can
from
we throw
upstairs.
a grenade
That
into
wasn't
the-
you lot's grenades this time.
Can we throw a grenade into the corridor that they came from?
Just so there's a cool explosion behind it.
But also, sensibly to seal off the corridor with the
Well,
piece of equipment in
It
there.
won't seal it off. A grenade.
I'm trying to get you an explosion.
Okay,
Either
yeah,
way.
do it.
As you're
I'm
coming
gonna
out
walk
of the
away in
corridor,
slow motion.
as you're coming out of the corridor, before such time as you can begin hurling grenades, there is another almighty rumble from upstairs. Which that wasn't you two this
that wasn't
time.
us.
You're
You
all
did your-
down here. All of you are here.
Perhaps they're throwing grenades at the werewolf.
That felt quite.
Hold on.
That
Do
was
I
big
recognise
for
That
a
was
it?
grenade.
big.
Do I
That was too
I
big.
we felt
recognise
it
the
through the-
explosion? Is it more like bomb or grenades or
It-
because I've trained with explosives in
Yeah,
Wolfberg.
that's very true. It's big, but it's not. It's probably equivalent to several grenades.
several grenades or like a like
Oh, right, a
explosive.
detonator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, as well as like
That was a
military
bigger one.
explosives, they've probably got mining explosives
yeah.
down here because they've been mining.
That was a bigger one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
just a little aware that we have a forces master.
Everyone roll
Right.
perception and awareness.
Ooh.
I am very aware that we don't have a forces master.
Yeah. He says, I'm very aware. Oh. What's the difficulty?
No idea.
Difficulty 6.
One success. I am marginally aware that we have a forces master upstairs.
2, 1,
I got 3.
3, 4.
We
Right.
have
my
things
thing.
that means we don't gain to awareness.
You do.
It's really not mine.
Yes.
I have 3 dice.
All of you. I say Roger and Colin are still slightly newer at being mages, but even you were starting to recognise what this is. All 3 of you just get the somebody in your relatively near vicinity has just kicked off a magical effect that was as vulgar as all hell. You all feel that sort of like suddenly hot and cold, like when you've got a fever, and those of you on higher successes possibly feel briefly like you're going to be sick. It really is like you can almost feel, even if you weren't sweating, you can feel something start to drip down your back. Somebody just did something hugely vulgar, like
Like blowing up a werewolf.
Yeah.
Or half a bay.
you're not sure. It might not. Who got the sort of multiple successes? Was you two,
3,
wasn't
yeah.
it? Have either of you got correspondence?
I do.
You do, don't
2.
you? No. It wasn't the explosion. That might well be magical, but that wasn't hugely vulgar.
Okay.
There was some form of extremely rough correspondence effect.
Oh.
Done.
Oh, that wasn't
really
the explosion.
Big and nasty.
Someone just sent someone somewhere else.
And
Or came here.
Or came here.
the slightly odd thing is, there's quite a familiar resonance on it,
Okay.
even though it's currently ill. It's the wildflower resonance
The what?
Oh, the woman.
that you got off the woman. But suffice to say, it's more like wildflowers that have been dead in a swamp for a week at the moment.
The typewriter lady. I say out loud.
Yeah.
Felt like it came from back where you two
Yeah,
were.
they've used her to get here. He's here.
We should
Particularly
kill
those
him.
of you with high ones.
We really need to kill him.
We do.
We also really need to get this
She's probably not.
away from him.
She's probably not dead because you probably would have felt a
Let's
different
get
end
it
to the
into the.
resonance.
Let's get it
But
into the thing.
you'd be shocked
Sure,
if any
and
mage
send-
just did that
Is
is
in
well.
any good
I
state.
forget her name. Millennia.
She needs
off with
to
it.
take it.
Let's
in-
get this into
You
the
aren't-
submersible. Get her to
You
get it
aren't
away.
bound by a powerful fey to fight this guy.
Will it fit in the bathysphere?
We have to
Like
go
weight-wise, will it
and
move?
spear
Yeah,
this
should
guy with this thing.
Yeah,
And shoot him with that
kind
bullet.
of agreed to
Do
do
a
a
thing.
favour.
All right.
for
Look,
Okay.
you
I'll
get
get
this
in the
amber
bathysphere.
out of here.
Just get the tablet free. And
Get it away.
I'll get it to the
What about you?
bathysphere.
How are you going to get out?
Why don't we?
we've got.
Are
other
we
ways
not
of
going to
getting
use
out.
the tablet? I assume we were going to use the tablet to help fight him.
Yeah, if he gets his hands on this,
We have to
it's
get it
game
away.
over.
Look,
How would we use it?
Well,
Like
we
pooling
could.
our we can probably pool our magic.
We've done it
pieces
If we all
before,
touch it at
anyway.
once or read it, we
Yeah.
can just.
We can
And we've
probably-
used it before, haven't
this
we?
is what if we don't get away, we don't get away, but they won't take us alive.
They take that. Just take that and get out of it. We can
Just
probably
get it
do a
clear.
reasonable job of pooling our magic anyway if we need to. Between
Get it clear.
The technomancer and the numerologist are not looking keen on this.
If you can, get it to England. Get it away from here.
I'm thinking that given my slightly messed up paradigm and the smattering
you
of
can
all
do all
kinds of
sorts of
different
things.
things,
You're
I
fine.
can
It's
probably
these
be
two
the
are...
link that keeps
That's
that
true.
helps you all do magic together.
Ah.
Just
Given
get
that I
it
have,
clear.
given that I have learned magic from technocrats and Verbena and Order of Hermes and
I mean, I could probably break the tablet. I mean, I'd have to look at it, but
let's get it away. For now, let's just get it clear.
Yeah?
Get it clear.
I'm
Just
just,
at you.
I'm just going to
Abe.
start running towards
Whoa,
the submersible.
whoa, wait.
No, he's carrying
No,
the tablet.
also-
Oh, yeah,
I
sorry,
am running to the submersible.
Okay, fine. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Get
good
it
with
clear. He
Alright.
can't have this.
Yeah?
If the Nephandi work together. Do you think we need to use it, Abe?
I think it'd be a better idea.
But what if he just takes it from us?
Malenus
Well, I
is
suppose
right.
then it doesn't really
Okay.
matter.
Well, like I said, I reckon I could break it.
You think?
Yeah, I could put like a failsafe on it so that if like I died, it would break.
What if you don't die?
But if I don't die, I could probably break it, myself. I guess if I'm unconscious, restricted, that kind of thing, there's always a chance.
I was
But
thinking like...
What the
Anyway.
fuck? I'm
Malenus says
more
that
for this
doesn't happen in seconds. What they can do to
Oh,
people. It
okay.
doesn't happen in
It
seconds.
takes a while. I don't know.
Can
Exact-
take hours, it can take
Okay,
months.
fine. If we need this... If you... Look, no offence, Rufus, but Abe has his knowledge of stuff and artifacts and things more than any of us. Oh, by the way, I pull various hypertech things out of my pockets. I found these, but they can wait.
They can wait. Drop them in the bathysphere.
Yeah, I
Look at
just-
them
yeah,
like-
yeah.
anything look immediately relevant.
Make me
The
some
laser
sort of
rifle
technology
might
roll.
come in handy.
Technology and
Wits or intelligence.
I fucking use intelligence. I shall. Yeah, what's the difficult?
Sorry for the noise of the biscuits.
It's a 6 and a 9.
No 9. No 9, 6 sixes.
I'm impressed with my ability to catch
Yeah, it's
things.
good, yeah.
Several bits are interesting
You really want a biscuit?
and do things with. One of the things he's got that's like a metal tube. You wondered if it might be like a gyroscope type thing because you can feel what feels like ball bearings or
sort of
something
moving inside it.
That has the potential to explode massively. It's not like nuke, but it's a detonator technology. That
Okay.
could probably blow a serious crater in this room, which is like a
Right. Okay.
20 metre by 20 metre.
Do I think
3
it
foot
requires expertise to use it, or do I think I could give it to one of the military types?
Just give it a shake.
concrete. If you explained how to detonate it, yes.
Oh, well, that's a very large explosive, like room destroying. Other than that, the rest of it I don't think is immediately useful.
That sounds like it could come in handy.
It's okay, I'll look after it.
I'd have to explain how you would use it, otherwise, yeah.
That's fine.
I think it's got a timer on it, but no, I want to look at this tablet and make sure I can do what I
How
was
good
saying
are
I
you
can.
at throwing?
So if you could put the tablet down so I can have a look at it.
I can throw.
Ronnie, you putting the
I play
tablet...
cricket.
Are you putting the tablet down so he can look at it?
Well, I'm probably near the bathysphere at this point, so I literally just sprinted
Yeah.
for it. It's he.
That you've caught up with one another, I'm assuming.
yeah,
if
we're
you're
gonna
looking at the
collect-
explosive.
I'll just kind of
bathysphere.
hold it in front of him.
All right.
Right.
Yeah,
Is there like a hand slot in each
Right.
corner or
What
something?
are you doing? Sensory magic? Or...
Yeah.
Yep, right. Make me the roll.
Central magic to see if I think I can do this first. If it looks breakable, with I assume by one of us avatar people. That's lucky it was only Century, so 1.
Yeah, it is both very difficult but imminently breakable. So basically, it's covered in runes. Now you're all in a position to look at it, and not in like a nice, neat when people show a page from a dwarven book in Lord of the Rings or whatever. It's literally covered in runes. There's runes around the edges. There's runes on the bottom. There's runes on the sides. There's runes. There's what looks like there's weird oghams cut into the corners. There's runes everywhere. It's just covered.
We're talking about runes carved into runes because they ran out of space.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks like perhaps 5 or 6 people all in sort of possibly slightly trance-like states all inscribing on this all at once over one another. Basically, there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of tiny fault lines. It is imminently explodable.
Right. But it also isn't?
But you think that it is key to particular resonances.
Yeah, but is mine one of them?
Yes. Yours, you lots are one of them.
So I could break it basically with
You could break
a
it.
tuning fork, basically, or similar.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, no, I could definitely break this into lots of tiny pieces. It will obviously, there might be a bit of a backlash.
Will that mean it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not.
Have you got matter as well?
No, I don't.
You have matter.
I-
You two have got,
I was
and you've got matter.
because
You've
I'm
got
not-
everything. But
I have to ask
you
you.
two are nearer the
I have one
explosive
with
at the
everything.
moment, aren't you? Does anyone wish to use matter to look at the explosive as well?
I'm probably mostly actually going to be looking at the tablet.
Tablet. Okay, then you do that, and you can look at the explosive. Difficulty 4.
One success on matter senses on
Right.
the tablet.
How's Ron so good with magic?
Okay, so
Coming into it.
got little metal ball bearings in. Little metal ball bearings.
So it's basically like a grenade, but bigger.
Those little metal ball bearings want to be about 1,000 times the size of what they are. They are currently squashed by magic. That's what will break everything.
I like this.
That is terrifying.
That is cool.
A technicat
cool.
has
Hold on,
squashed.
who's holding the thing?
At the moment, him, because you're holding the tablet up for Adam to read it.
Ron's probably just looking at it with a look of.
You okay?
That's so cool.
Right.
I'm going to hold it slightly further
Please,
away
Dan,
from
you
my
knew
face.
it did that. It's a
I suppose it doesn't really matter when it's at
Right.
arm's length. does it?
The tablet, so matter again. As he sort of adjusted, it's thousands of different people scoring. Again, you feel that same innate connection to your resonance.
Okay.
You are pretty certain you could find it. Also, the other thing is that it's odd. Now this thing's out, and now you're interacting. You've been holding with it. You two have done magic on it now. Jeremy a little bit less so, but even you're certain to. You're pretty certain if somebody dropped this thing in the bottom of a dark mine, you could just find it now. It feels like it's yours.
That is really cool.
Yeah, but it is amber. But it's magic.
Look
It
at
was
this, honestly, I reckon
magically
we can just snap it in
formed
half.
as
I'm
well.
not sure it'd stop working then.
He can probably sense this thing, though, yeah?
Yeah.
He can't sense us,
No.
but he can sense this thing.
Yeah.
He can
Yeah.
sense it as
Trap,
moving.
Trap.
Yeah. So,
So.
sure, you cover the door.
Ron, which pistol are you holding?
Hey, if you think
Yeah,
about
my
this for a
Webley at
minute,
the moment.
can I
Do you want to
just
be holding the other
pick it up from your brain, or do you want to tell me how it
Can do.
works so I don't remember
You
it?
might not get many chances to take a shot.
Use
at
the
this
tablet,
guy.
yeah, easily.
I'd probably want to be using
I
my
don't know exactly how.
rifle.
Do I know how the tablet works? Is it?
Bullet in a pistol.
Yeah,
Rifle.
you begin
Well,
tracing a
fine,
particular
I know.
rune pattern, and then it will link everything in together.
Yeah.
But you could also just tell them. I mean, it's technocracy produced tech, as far as you're aware. But it can be used by non-enlightened individuals. You can just tell him how to do it. Basically, it's actually got it looks like a solid tube. Actually, there's a series of 3 tumblers, and they have to be lined up. Basically.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then when they are, all of the little metal spheres will basically it turns the magic effect off.
But
It's
I
a
will
magic
not
effect.
tell you
So
what's in
time delay.
Yeah, I was going to say the explosion's probably further than you can throw it, especially in here.
I could drop it down a hole.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Or I could throw it.
But it might
Or we
or-
could use magic to hurl it
Or
away.
I
go
could
through most of
propel
the
it with
walls.
Or
correspondence.
those of
It'll
you
go
with
through most
time
of the
could
walls,
try to hang out the effect, or
Sure.
but
I
you could
do that.
you could do various things with it. Or you could he could use extra matter to slow down the fuse
Sure.
time
Or the fact I'm
effectively,
super
or you
strong.
could, there are all sorts
Super
of things
strong.
You could do.
You've
No,
got-
I am currently super
Oh,
strong.
you're currently super
It's-
strong.
I am holding a half-ton of amber right now,
True.
remember?
Its
Don't drop it.
standard setting
What?
is it's standardly set for a minute. But if you wish to alter that, you can. But yeah, it will take out this room, which, as I said, is a sort of 20-metre square concrete.
No, it isn't. It's a submarine pen.
currently, yeah.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
We're
We
in
could
the
take
sub-pen.
out the
Yes.
corridor leading
Where
to
do
the
we
submarine
want
pen.
to? Where do we want to face him?
So, with time, Can you?
That big open
Could I
space
alter it
just
in
beyond the
theory
corridor.
from a distance?
I think so.
Need to come from different angles.
Well, not necessarily, because if we've got
You've got
this,
correspondence, have you? Correspondence is more distance. Time, you could just extend the timer.
So
The
but
problem
yeah,
is we're all then
you
standing
could-
very close to each other with the forces.
Yeah, but what the thing is,
Yes,
is
so
that,
one of us focuses on deflecting his attacks. On basically stopping whatever he...
I'm going to be trying to assault his mind.
well, do we know what kind of force he's coming with? Can anyone tell us what if he's because if it's just him and he's going to be spending all of his on his magic stuff, his
Can I extend my forces senses?
enlightened science?
Yeah, or mind sensors.
Yeah, both.
Mind sensors.
Yeah,
sensors.
people that wish to sense things.
Mind sensors.
in a straight up fight.
I botched my mind senses roll.
Luckily,
Oh.
you are wearing a special pin that a very nice fairy gave you. So you have not just gone ding!
I have, however, gone, ow.
You have gone ow, and also the fairy pin that you're wearing. Remember, I said it's all little bugs. Your bug suddenly looks very hot. It's, very, it's kind of glowing.
Absorbed your
slightly.
ping.
Ow.
I got one success
Yeah, and
on mine.
your eyeballs are trying to boil at the back.
I got
basically,
2
which
on
feels like it at the
forces.
moment.
I'm just going to sit down for a minute.
Right, but yeah,
That
if
did
we
work.
Sorry, tea is very important. It's very cold in the UK tonight. Those of you that didn't watch our live YouTube broadcast earlier, hence the hat and the cup of tea, because we're very cold. But Roger has now...
Be glad there's insulation on the ceiling.
There is indeed.
'Cause,
Though Roger
it would
is
be
still...
frozen in here.
Roger is rolling surprisingly well while wearing gloves, because I'd still be trying to pick the dice up.
Pretty thick gloves. They can't see your hands, Roger. It's just business to the background.
There we go.
And he's gone. Where's he gone?
Yeah, they're nice sheepskin gloves, so
They
they're
are
very
indeed.
warm.
Right. Anyway, so results. Sorry, I was briefly distracted by
One
tea.
success on a mine.
One success on mind. You've hurt
Two.
your brain.
Two.
Yeah, 2
Two
on
on
forces.
forces.
I'm
You've...
not sensing, I'm still trying to rig this for falling apart.
Boom.
Right. One on mine. So... Actually, no, one. So, sensory-wise, there are still people up on the ground floor, which you knew.
Yep.
One of those people up on the ground floor is a massive great wolf.
Yep.
Still, hey, the wolf
there are-
lives.
There are lots of people in vicinity of the massive great wolf who keep blipping off.
Okay. Like a little...
Yeah.
Dead.
There are other people running away
Yeah, sure.
from the whacking great wolf who are probably the smart ones.
Yeah.
Um,
All the ones forced to be there.
they're
No,
running.
it'll be the fanatical
They've already
SS
gone.
that are sticking around.
No, I mean the one
It's
people...
probably
ones
the,
running
one, the
away
young
at
ones
the
they were told
Who's
about.
just gone,
the ones
giant fucking wolf! And a run.
They've gone delirium.
Ah! Which, to be fair, is
To
probably...
be fair, they probably looked at it and just went,
No. Just no.
"Nine!"
Nope.
I was kind of...
Nine.
I always kind of feel with White Wolf and the delirium, which is basically, for those of you not familiar with it, if a normal mortal sees a werewolf, their brain just goes, ugh, and temporarily causes them to just get the hell away from it and refuse to admit it exists,
Yeah.
and kind of forget that they ever saw it. However, there is a moment of, if there's a really angry Get a Fenris coming towards you and you're not affected by the delirium, you are still allowed to just run away. This is a perfectly...
The delirium. If the delirium depends on their willpower, willpower 10 is no reaction.
Yes.
That is still a delirium effect.
Yes.
Having no outward reaction to
To a
a
werewolf,
9-foot
yeah.
tall werewolf
Yeah.
Yeah.
is still a delirium
So,
effect.
definitely.
yeah, that's a big
Definitely.
werewolf. The big werewolf is eating people. People are running the hell away from the big
I wanted
werewolf.
to keep them.
Cool. Any powerful minds?
But there are 2 mines that are now coming down into the room that you found the wolf in, which you lot did grenade, but so they're making their way carefully.
Food and wreckage.
One is
come
very
down.
powerful, one is pretty nearly dead.
That's the girl. He's coming with her.
Right.
She's nearly dead.
But
and
so in a fight, I mean, assuming he's not using magic, would probably be you guys would be easily handy for him, yeah.
Possibly, but he's going to He's going to unleash all kinds of magic.
Yeah, but with the tablet and all of us together, we can probably just counter all of that.
Can the tablet be in the bathysphere? As a plan B.
I think the plan B is we break the thing. I'm pretty sure
we need
any
to
of
be
us,
holding it.
any of us
to
can
power
break
up.
it.
You need to be at least... Basically, you need to be able to see it.
Yeah.
Can we go Super Saiyan?
To see it.
You need to be able to... Well, to see the rune work on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So fairly close.
So,
Yeah, a few metres is fine.
Yeah, sure, but not
at
the other
least
side of a
I'd-
big root chamber
No.
because you wouldn't be able to see it.
How about us two
Yep.
focus on countering whatever he throws at us?
Okay.
Well, I was actually going to suggest that whatever method of control he's got over her, you want to separate it first, because that way you've gained an ally and you've taken out one of his strengths.
Just to throw this out there, we're in big room, there's a corridor, and then there's a big room, yeah?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can throw things really far.
Do we
We
just
have
make a big
that thing.
explosion in
They
there?
enter that room. Time.
Rather get
Nope.
her out if we can.
Oh, he'll almost certainly count that anyway, but because it's a device that he knows exactly how it works and it's kind of his expertise, he's definitely going to turn it off before it explodes, or just ignore the explosion. But it might weaken him a bit. Might take a bit of his effort.
It might distract him.
Might kill her.
Right, so, yes, so I have drawn a brief and very terrible map that unfortunately our viewers at home will not be able to see, but the good news is you probably don't. So this one is the bathysphere.
Where's my miniature?
So you have the sub bay effectively, and this bit's water and this bit's not
Yep.
water. This was the little corridor section up here, which is where you killed the guy. Up here are the stairs that you guys went up to,
Yep.
and down here is the mining shaft that you guys went to. And this is a big room. It has a few
Big
boxes,
crates
yeah,
and
big crates, but it's not full of big crates.
Okay.
There's a few sort of dotted about.
So,
At the moment, he is up here and will presumably be entering via this staircase, but you don't know.
Oh god.
That is still so
Throwing us
weird
out
on
there.
the screen. We apologise, viewers, for the disappearing
we
biscuits.
could ambush him. He
Yeah.
knows where the amber thing is and is going for the amber thing.
No, he knows where it is now.
No.
He's not going to think it's down there.
We still ping.
No.
We still ping to. Well, we still show up. We will still show up on all of his senses except the magical ones.
So you still think you're
Yeah,
people?
yeah. No. I
So
get
he'll
that.
still be able to see us.
My point
Ambushing him may be
being-
tricky.
We put the amber thing somewhere with some of us. He'll feel the amber thing and he'll see some of us. Others of us then appear behind him and shoot him in the fucking head.
Yeah, that's why I think. Yeah, normal weapons and things, and we'll just try to neutralise the people with the tablet.
Well,
try to.
I've
knock
got
out
this
anything.
bullet that I
blindly
am
does.
planning on putting in his head. If
Just hit
he's-
him with it.
if-
Don't worry about trying to shoot him in the head. Just
If
hit him
he's
with
looking at someone else,
Yeah.
it makes my job of lining up a shot that much easier.
Okay, we'll go and hide somewhere.
Alright, from my knowledge of the
So
area,
shall we
where
go
do I
back
think
towards
is a
that
good...
door?
Let's go back into that. Let's go back into that main room. Bring the
it. And
tablet
go
with
over
us.
to there. And then the rest, we'll go over there.
Yeah.
And they can hide there.
Yep.
No,
Well,
they need to
hopefully
be
come
visible
here.
because he
Yep.
needs to be walking. He needs his attention
Yeah.
on someone.
Yeah, and he'll
As
be
you come
walking
down the
that way.
stairs, you
We
can
go
see the
there.
entrance.
Yep.
He comes down the stairs and
Some
goes with
people-
them.
You hide over there and
Pop
shoot
out,
across there
shoot.
when he goes across that
And there's a
way.
bunch of crates and other stuff in there you can hide behind as well.
Alright, yeah, I will.
We'll go for that.
Right.
Let's move because we have like 30 seconds
Seconds.
before
Alright,
he gets
I-
here.
Let's
I'm
go.
I'm loading the bullet.
We're running off.
Right. I presume you're then putting the amber back on the ice thing because Roger's saying that way.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Who's got the explosive? I've got the explosive. Cool, let's go.
Explosive. We've got Maria, and in fact, Maria should be able to use this as well.
Melena, yeah.
Melena should be able to use this as well.
Should, in theory.
So we're going to focus on basically neutralising whatever he's doing.
Can
but
we combine our mind magic?
I can.
You can have all of mine.
It's 'cause you haven't got it. Yeah.
No, but with... I don't know how combining magic works. Whether
I
we
don't
can-
know how combining magic works with this.
Whether we can...
Well, you
Add
can
our
trace through with
bits
your eyes and your
together.
finger,
Probably not.
and then that should allow you to work together.
Okay.
Sorry, say that again.
If you should be able to trace one of the runes,
Yep.
one that picture you draw your eye with your
Oh, this
finger
one.
or with an eye, at the same time, and then that should allow you, like other mages that or scientists
Okay.
that can work together. Like you might probably did it with your like master or professor, whatever you want to call
Yep.
them. Just means that you can normally work
We-
together, make it more powerful, and do stuff that you
Write
do
the same
autonomous.
patterns and go through the same routes
Yeah.
simultaneously.
So yes, we can probably. I can probably assist in power. In
Can
helping
I
get your magic
use
more powerful.
what
Could like
little time
deflect all of
magic
his
I have
perception, scatter
to
his
kind of-
thoughts.
At the moment, I'm mostly worried
when
about
I'm lining
trying
up
to
the
stop
shot
him
to
from blowing us all up.
slow time very
Yeah.
slightly for me.
We want to be able
So you
to.
have longer to
I've got
line up.
forces,
effectively.
but
How much time have you got?
I've only got one.
But the two of us together
No,
working
so you
to
can't then
deflect.
alter time. But
If we can
As you
undo
have a
what
very-
he's throwing,
Well,
you have a
that's
very
why I was thinking about
accurate
mine.
sense of
I'm
it.
more
So if
powerful
that
than
makes
that. I can make
sense,
him
it'll
throw
let
it in
you
one
make
direction.
the most of the time.
Like I said, I think trying to separate
That
Elsa
makes
from him,
more
if he's
sense.
using some sort of
So-
forceful control on her.
You
Yeah.
will know exactly,
Might be the
okay,
first
so the
priority.
turning of the
Yeah. I
hand,
should
you
be
know,
able
if
to
he's turning
deflect.
his head, he does that in
Well,
6.47
my-
seconds. So I've got this long, and I can time it exactly.
To get the round
yeah.
in, okay.
But with my knowledge of primal science, I should be able to deflect anything
Can I do
until I
that
run out of
to
energy.
make my shot easier then?
Just normally, I normally
I'm
want to
gonna
do
get
it.
around.
I'm
So
gonna
are you
work-
coming with
okay.
us?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
With a tablet.
Okay, right, cool.
I'll work with you trying to just keep him.
I'm ambushing him.
I'll work with you
I don't
trying to keep his magic.
You two have got prime. You can.
I've got
counter.
all the spheres and therefore can counter
Yeah.
whatever I can.
I've also got Prime,
He's doing.
Yeah, you guys can counter magic.
but I'm going to be seeing if there's some mind bond between him and the lady, and if I can
Break it.
Okay, in which case, can I use life to basically make my breathing impossibly slow?
Yep.
Because
Yep.
breathing affects your
I'm joking. Yeah.
You've got
Like,
how
make
many
your
lives
life,
have you got life 2 or 3?
emissions
two,
low.
so I got
Yeah,
two
you can-
successes.
You can just do it.
Yeah, life 2 for yourself.
Basically,
you
I
can
can
just
hold my breath
breath
for a
for-
stupid
yeah.
time.
a good
You
few
can
minutes.
hold your breath for scion levels.
You can
Low
hold
level
your,
scion.
you can
Yeah,
hold your,
it's-
yes.
It's just steadying the aim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life,
I've got one shot
yeah.
at this.
Life 2, not needing to bring in oxygen for a couple of minutes or even a bit longer.
You've
is
been holding
no
your breath for the
problem.
last 3 weeks waiting for this.
Okay, so yes.
As much as, yes, I don't like having a game necessarily hinge on one roll, but that roll going well would definitely set the stages, and that roll
Well,
going
kids.
badly would definitely...
What, shooting the guy? Yeah,
Yes.
spend a
In
point
the
of-
head with the special bullet.
Spend a point
Spend
of
the willpower.
You can spend more than one, can't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
One at a time.
But spend the willpower.
Right.
Contestant,
So,
you can spend more than one.
the rest of you...
People like
So,
football
as I say,
power
you do literally have
stop his
30
magic.
seconds. You can hear footsteps. Well,
Grenade!
Back out, motherfucker!
Miss, you're on!
right. Well, you can hear some footsteps.
How many footsteps?
Honestly,
Two
about
people?
3.5 at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So basically, 2 figures come down the stairs. Well, one walks down the stairs, the other partially falls down the stairs. So, Francis, the man you have been following for an awful long while, the guy that ran off with the premium and inverted his avatar and generally turned out to be evil, is wearing an entirely pleasant but fairly anonymous 3-piece tailored suit.
Nice.
It's in a sort of dark grey colour. Got shirts, got his cuffs are nicely done. He's pushing 70 at this point. His hair's thinned out quite a bit and it's quite grey. He's wearing very neat spectacles, and generally speaking, he just looks very neat.
Yeah.
I mean, all of you lot that perhaps had stories off your masters of sort of, crazy Nephandi with, tentacles and all. He's just wandering along, looking fine. Nice gold watch you can occasionally see peeking out between his cufflinks.
Okay.
However,
He's too well dressed to be evil.
However, what he's basically
He's like a dapper chap.
he is basically dragging a young woman with him. She's relatively tall, actually, but very, very, very thin, to the point of clearly been mistreated thin. She's wearing a light summer dress, so she's presumably freezing. He's effectively got his hand in the fabric of the dress and is sort of half holding her up as he drags her down the stairs. Literally, out from under her dress, everywhere you look, is gushing water with flowers in it. She is effectively it's like there is a wellspring somewhere in her. It's possibly the paradox
having
effect of
serious
getting
paradox
her.
issues.
And there is just water flowing out of everywhere. So by the time they get to the bottom of the steps, there's already a pool of water at the base of them. But yeah, she's sort of walking, but not, and she looks very... I mean, she's got her head completely over. She is kind of weight-bearing, sort of. But
Is
that's
there
it.
a mental collar around her, effectively? Can I sense anything? I'm happy to roll.
Right, yeah, roll.
One success, unless it's...
Well,
No,
Difficulty
difficulty...
4, probably. Sensory.
Yeah,
Two.
sensory, and yeah, she had
successes.
a lot of willpower, but she don't, well, not left anyway.
Nothing magically mental.
There is nothing magically mental. She is confused and tired and unwell to the point that you don't think she's that aware of her surroundings.
Can I make her go to sleep?
You could give it a go. It would be doing magic awfully near him.
Yeah, when we're standing at
We're standing there in the open
in
waiting.
front of him.
What
And you've
person-
been using the bee pins, but, realistically...
Realistically, at this
I'm
stage...
trying to look as heroic as an accountant can with a pistol.
Oh, no.
Pen in one hand. I've got this.
It won't take much to cause her to go to sleep, because
Sure.
she's nearly there. She's exhausted.
Got a 4, 5, 9.
Yeah, and difficult so willpower in this case, which is down to about 4 at the minute. Right, she just goes. Again, because he's been mostly holding her, he sort of looks. Let's go, and she sort of falls onto the concrete with a very wet but not pleasant sound. Right, and she just sort of splats on the concrete at the bottom of the stairs, and he starts...
Francis Gilbert, I'd say you're under arrest, but we know that's not how this is going to go.
Well, and also you don't have any authority in this territory, whereas I do. So, are you going to hand that lovely... How did you get that out of the permafrost? Now, are you going to hand it over,
How
or am I
clear is my
going to
shot?
have to rend you all into tiny pieces first? He starts
I'm
pulling
going to
something
do
out
a
of his
scattering
pocket.
mind effect on him. I'm
How
going to
clear
try
is my
and
shot?
confuse his senses.
Because I need to kind of wait till I
He's
get a good
talking
look at
and
his
walking.
head.
You need...
It's the evil villain.
He just
bit.
needs
He's
to
doing his-
grandstand another 30... If he's stupid enough to grandstand another 30 seconds, you've got him. Basically.
Basically, I'm waiting for the for it.
Okay, maybe I'll wait then.
shot.
Maybe I'll.
Because
no,
Ron is very
he's
conscious
reaching
he's
for
got
something, is
one.
it?
He is reaching for something in his pocket. It's just a small suit pocket, so it's extremely unlikely it's like a rifle, but he is a master, so
Who knows?
Yeah, you could just go.
it could be a...
even Mary Poppins, I think.
It could be a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
You thought it was a hanky.
Yeah,
It was a Panzerfaust.
I was going to say it could be a Tyrannosaurus
He's
Rex.
a master. It could be a velociraptor. You've got no idea.
Oh, they're only like
I
the
am
size of a
going
chicken. I wouldn't-
I am going to try and
Punt my
like
back at him.
assault his mind, and
Okay.
I'm going to shout, "You will not defeat me again!" And I'm going to spend a point of willpower on it.
Okay. Right.
I'm holding my action to basically counter whatever he throws at us.
As am I, yeah. Or does any magic.
While looking faintly amused.
Got a 9
Right.
and a willpower.
And a willpower. So you have
two
2
successes.
successes.
Not that I have any grounds to look faintly amused, but I'm looking faintly amused at
My
it.
head explodes.
Mostly
No,
to...
no, it doesn't.
I'm not. I'm looking.
I'm trying to do like
concentrating
a confusing, like
Right.
yeah, holding it 3 bits of equipment. Are you going to have any guests?
and a special guest on this episode. A strange person I don't know.
At least
One
it's
of
not
Pete's.
the chavs walking past earlier.
One of
yeah.
Pete's
Back in
neighbours.
what?
Yeah.
One of Pete's neighbours that wants to know why there's talking in a garage.
They've all asked me. It's like this lady saw me the other week and she's
Have
like,
you got a brothel in there?
I don't know, I just wanted to ask, what do you do on a Thursday night in your
Well, come to Garblag Games YouTube channel and subscribe.
If you go to this website, you can see for yourself.
What we're doing with garage.
You've got a YouTube account? No, then you can't tell you. Make one and subscribe to Garblag Games to know more.
What do you say?
So we play games and I film it and put it on my YouTube channel.
Oh,
They're
it's
like,
about
okay,
right,
just
right.
boring weirdo. It's not some sort of weird sex cult.
No, it's just boring. Weird.
I'm going to get enough subscribers. I think I'm going to be able to summon Satan.
No, we've already passed 666
So
subscribers.
yeah. Missed
Okay.
opportunity there.
Well,
Okay, so... Seem to be okay.
Right. So you are attempting to put a mind magic on him that is going to confuse him. He has reached in his pocket for something which is going to get tossed in your general direction, which you need some more dice for. You are very nearly there.
Full Professor Exit.
Well,
You
Hand against the head to everything.
oh yeah.
right.
The self-mind meld.
Perhaps you should have used forces and Darth Vadered him.
Right. So,
My goal is to try and confuse his senses.
what he takes out of his pocket, you very briefly see flash. It's like a coin. But then there is what you two who are sort of ready and aiming on the sort of what he's going to do. Basically, that coin is about to let off a blindingly white light flash.
Right.
It's a forces effect. It's going to get very hot and very bright right where you are very quickly.
How do you want us to do this?
Right, so you are both trying to counter the
I'm
magic.
trying to counter magic with forces.
With forces.
Because I can.
Because you can. Or you can counter them with prime. So basically you're both making successes. You can add them together because you're doing the thing, and you have to get, more than he's got.
Surely Abe just pulls down his welding goggles.
The thing is, it's not. Even if we fail,
It'll lessen it.
It'll lessen it.
it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I spent willpower because.
Yep.
There.
Oh God.
I don't botch.
Good.
I get 1 success.
Oh, cool.
I got
Because
3.
willpower.
You got 3.
Right.
Wicked.
An 8 and a 1 on the dice.
All
I think
right.
you have to spend 1 contestant use prime to counter that. I think it's 1.
Right. This thing's off. It does get very bright and very hot. But so from you two's viewpoint, it gets quite bright and hot because you're right by the tablet. This should have been a much bigger effect that would have, for instance, made it rather difficult to shoot into the bright, winding white light. However, Adam has successfully negated a significant part of it, and you did as well. So there's if you like, there's a flash that you wouldn't have been able to shoot through, that then sort of condenses down into a much smaller
Did
sort
he
of
stop
fire.
moving to throw?
No, he didn't. He kept going because accuracy wasn't that important. You just had to chuck it in their general
It's like
direction.
holding a flashbang.
Yeah, effectively. So you two have got So this thing has come to rest as a sphere about this big, rather than how big it was going to be. It has landed on the concrete between you two, and it's very hot.
Okay.
So
Like it needs the amber, the concrete, and you two probably don't want to be in its near vicinity for very many rounds, or you will start cooking.
Yeah, but it means he probably.
Isn't coming in that way either.
Yeah.
Right. I guess. Oh, you did learn something. I thought you were. Oh, hang on a minute. I'm being stupid, aren't I? Of course I'm being stupid. I thought you thought of
well,
that.
that wouldn't be the first time.
Get that man to Mallow.
Right.
I'm trying to get him to focus on me.
yeah.
I'm trying
You're
to
doing a really good
Right.
job. of it.
I'm
Okay.
holding up at the.
He suddenly
There are times.
looks at you and looks cross. Generally speaking, he doesn't lose his shit so much, but he has been marginally disrupted.
Yeah.
And starts. Basically, he sort of closes the distance between the two of you in not even a round.
Okay.
Yeah, magic effectively. Which means you
He's
obviously.
moving too quickly.
He's moving too quickly that bit, but once he comes to stop right by Colin, then that'd be a really good shot. What he does to Colin is there. Right. Colin, he's going to try and grab you. Because he literally has closed the distance between you very, very, very fast.
Keep your mouth closed.
Your best bet is sort of as he gets near you, he goes for your clothing rather than your flesh. So you think he's probably going to pick you up or something.
Okay.
You can try and get away, or you can just let him in the knowledge you'll probably stay still when he does that.
I'm going to be reflexively dodging.
Okay, reflexively
not got the
dodge. But he
spike.
does this quite well, so.
I sent it to one.
You got the
You got it.
Yeah.
4 successes.
Right, okay. He puts his hand round his throat and lifts you bodily up. It's like being picked up by a bloody forklift or something. It's
Yeah.
mechanical.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it. Right. He's got... On the upside, he's stock still. The downside is Colin's head is there and his head is here.
Yeah, but I'm assuming the angle is Colin's
yeah,
not directly
no,
the other
no,
side,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
a very. I've got to take the shot.
You've got to take
I'm
a
hoping
shot.
it's not going to. I'm
If
going to.
you don't take
I'm
a shot,
trying
you're
not to
dead
hit
anyway.
Colin.
Yeah.
but I am
I think
taking
Rufus
the
is going,
shot.
take the shot! Take
No,
the
I'm
shot!
not. If I say anything, he'll know that he's out.
Okay, can I use forces
What I
and
am
time
doing is
to
trying to
increase the
trying to
velocity of the
put
bullet as
put the
quickly
bullet
as
from my own pistol into his
I'm basically
gut.
trying to remove any reaction time he has.
You haven't got enough time to do it. How much forces have you got?
3.
That's pretty good.
You've got
You
enough...
could make
Right.
it do more damage.
Basically, what we could do, there are two ways you could take this shot. So, either you take the shot. You roll your dex and firearm skills, spend any willpower you want to. The difficulty will be a standard shot on you'll hit him or you won't.
Okay.
Oh, and he will probably have a moment to react. Not much. The other option is you do magic first to try to make, and what that will functionally do is effectively make your chance of hitting him much greater, so it will reduce the difficulty. But if you sod up the magic, then you run the risk of sodding up the bullet, because the bullet is magic.
I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to
But
spend
it is
willpower.
2 rolls, and you can spend willpower on both rolls.
Spending.
But if you bollocks up the magic, then you've possibly bollocks up the bullet.
Okay.
Well, he hasn't bollocks up the magic. 6 and 7.
Yep. Okay,
So,
you have not bollocks
Plus
up.
1 for the willpower.
Plus
Oh,
1 for
3
willpower.
then.
Right. You have increased the speed. So basically,
I'm
when you
basically trying to make it as... so he has very little time to go... just more.
effectively, yes. Okay, so
I may not
Make
get
the
a chance
shot.
to empty my pistol into his gut, but if he's still alive after this, I'm going to attempt to empty my pistol into his gut.
I was thinking
And
of activating
spending
the
willpower.
bomb and throwing it at you.
That would
1,
also
2,
work. I mean, right next to
3,
us.
4,
I'm gonna stick
5.
those
What's the difficulty?
it's 6.
That would
No, for
We're
it's 4.
distracted.
Oh, in which case, 7.
Okay.
Oh, hang on, I can re-roll 10s. It's a rifle.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, you can.
9.
You have hit him.
Oh, sorry. Plus the willpower, 10.
Wow.
You have definitely hit him.
The scale for successes in this game only really goes up to 5.
Yes.
For how well you've achieved something. On 5 success, you have completed totally.
I had 7 dice,
You have.
3
have
of which
killed
were
him.
10s.
Awesome.
However, we now need to know the damage.
Do I get a
So
bonus?
like a sonic boom.
So-
in the room.
No, there is a rifle crack. There wouldn't be enough time for you to register the difference. There is a
It's magic.
And it is in, I was aiming
Yeah,
for the head.
do
The sound
standard
happens
damage.
before the bullets left the gun.
And that you would do with that gun, but then obviously if
Oh
it's
my
magic,
god, what are you rolling today?
5, I think.
Yeah, 5.
Do I re-roll? You don't re-roll 10s on
don't
damage.
re-roll
do you?
on damage.
No.
No.
Oh, that's
also,
a shame.
10 successes to hit is going to give a boost to that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
5 from my standard 8 dice that you
Yeah,
get for a
and
rifle.
then 9 more dice for the successes. Is
Well,
it?
no, because he
No?
did do something to negate some of
Okay.
it, so you've got a spare 5.
Okay. Is that all?
Just 2 more.
Yeah. So
Right.
7.
Only enough damage to drop a
Only
PC in one hit.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not a PC,
No.
obviously. Right.
Put a hole in him.
Well, this is the bullet with his name on it.
This is literally the bullet with his name on it.
Right.
It's
I'm
kind of
hoping that's gonna
appropriate
help.
that
You
you
fixed
rolled
the
one.
spike as a bayonet for the rifle.
I did ask. Apparently, you two, no one was happy with me making it a bayonettable, which was my original plan.
The general impression was don't fuck with the magical bullet any more than is really
No,
necessary.
the
This is
magic
the
spike.
Oh, the magic spike was yes. No, do not also fuck
Yeah.
with the fairy magic spike.
No, that's, yeah,
Although I
that
think they
was
gave it to
true.
me
But
because I'm working
however,
with
Isn't it pretty
blades.
heavy, so it might make the rifle bend and stuff.
He's super strong.
Either way,
Yeah, but the rifle isn't.
Right. So
Either
what
way.
happens
It's a
after I?
magic rifle.
so
And that was
He gets shot very, very accurately.
Yeah.
it's not very accurately.
In the ear
you
hole.
kind of had the sort of side on to that sort of side of his head as where you are, and slightly eerie. Really, someone having their head shot very, very well that near you is your own face is always going to be a little bit unnerving. And you literally
No
hear
shit.
you hear the rifle crack, and for a second you almost think he's missed because you don't see anything, and then the opposite side of his head from Roger, the right side, there's just this sort of gust of blood comes out. That said,
If his grip doesn't release, and even if it does, I'm attempting to unload my pistol into his gut.
right, okay, attempt to do that as well. Adam, as you're a little bit more removed from it, there is red coming down from his head, almost like it's running in the veins under his skin. It looks, to be honest, like fire is running under his skin. He doesn't just instantly poleaxe, but you can see this stuff disappear under. And in fact, particularly, he's wearing a very fine quality linen shirt. You can almost see the red running underneath the linen.
Safety measure.
What, however, is sort of
Or the effect of the bullet.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
What's
yeah.
slightly concerning you is that there is now you can sort of see him up close. There is something under his jacket on his right hand side that now you're there. it's a very well tailored jacket. It's almost like this was cut to allow for it. There is something he's got there. There is something bulky or something under the side of his coat.
Right.
Which is while you're holding the tablet.
I'll hold on to it. Yeah.
Feels like whatever that is. It doesn't belong to him. It does belong to you lot. You do want it back. The tablet would like it back very much. And that somehow removing that will remove any link he has to this place or any benefit he can get from anything here.
Right.
Awesome.
Right, there we go. Right, empty the bullet into his guts, or at least attempt to.
What difficulty is it to shoot someone who's holding...
4.
Yeah, it's literally, it's what... It could be high because I'm concerned, but yeah, 4, cool. I'll go with that, 7 successes.
Right, roll damage on that. Right, you get 2 extra. So,
2 extra plus...
So 8, so 6, so 8.
Because...
Again...
What? No, it's
Oh, you've
pistol.
got a Luger, haven't you?
Yeah.
Rather than a
Again,
weapon.
because you're close to it, and you're probably quite close to him now as well, aren't you? 'Cause you're standing with these two. There are clods of what you presume is grey matter coming outside of his head, and like one side of his like left side, particularly when Colin does that, goes very limp, and he sort of drops Colin. But it's almost like, and again you can see this red running under his skin, but it's almost like again like he's. You're again one of the more experienced mages. Best bet is what he's doing is life magic.
Yeah, he's
effectively,
trying to prop his body
he
up
is propping his body up effectively. But whatever this red stuff is, it doesn't look like it's doing him any good.
Okay.
But yes, he is. That is why he has not poleaxed his life magic at this point.
Okay.
But that does mean you're pretty certain he's focusing all of his attention on not being dead.
Well, I've just given him some more bullet holes to think
Marvellous, yes. He drops you, and that side seems to go very limp all of a sudden.
So yes, he's got another 3 bullet holes or so in his gun. So
Right, he attempts to stumble towards Abe and the tablet.
Right, get the thing on his belt. I'm going to try to... I'm still trying... Can I counter his life magic?
I will step closer
You
to
can try.
him and try and frisk him because I haven't figured it out. But he says something on his belt, so I'm going to like just try and tear his jacket as hard as I can.
You pull his jacket
Not
to one
messing
side. You can see what Abe mentioned, which is it's a black leather pouch. Almost looks like those cases people have for binoculars or cameras in the 40s, that sort of thing. Is on his belt, but looks quite heavy.
Okay. Can I open it up, take out what's in it, and put the bomb back in it, and then shut it?
He's stumbling around quite a lot, so that's quite difficult, actually.
the bomb, you're going to kill
He's
us
also
all.
quite close to
And
us.
push him away. We've got a minute to run into the other room.
Right. Adam's counting his life magic. You might not even need it.
Oh,
but
okay, fair
Maybe a dex and...
I'm going to try and take it off him.
Maybe some sort of dex and athletics just to try
God.
and get it off
you
of
spend
him.
willpower?
Just because he's stumbling about and
Nope.
dying.
No,
so this is quite tricky.
I don't.
What was difficulty?
Difficulty was... Oh, you're countering it.
Countering a
Difficulty 5.
Oh, then 2.
Right. Okay, that's something. Right, he sort of tries to stumble towards you, and his left-hand side kind of goes out from under
Can I
him.
put another round through his head?
You can try. He's flailing about, and he's quite near these guys, so it's a tricky shot, but you can do it. You can try it.
I'm intending to just kick his weakened leg out from underneath him until he's falling on the
I
floor.
rolled a 7, 9, and a 10.
Oh, there we go on a thing that shouldn't necessarily be
Pickpocket
right.
roll.
I know how to do that. Right.
5.
Right, and you pick out.
I'm going to hold the bomb up and to you guys and sort of...
You go to get it out. What's Jeremy's strength?
2. It's average.
Yeah. And you pick up and go.
Really heavy. Is it gold or something? Is it
It's Mjolnir.
lead or... Yeah, is it Mjolnir? Ah! Take it out.
It's just the head.
Oh, it's just the
It's
head.
the head.
Okay.
That's his.
7 successes.
As you take it out, you realise there's some weird gold metal attached to it, and it comes away, and some of the pouch comes away, and what looks like some of his skin comes away.
He'd wired himself up to Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Is and looks round at you. You would take another
Whack him
shot.
in the
7
face.
successes.
You negated 2 of the life magic. You do it again this time. But he is running out of options at this point. The reason mages, particularly at high levels, get really, really hard is because damage doesn't take away from your arete pool. So even if you increasingly can do fuck and all, you can still do magic. But you do start to run out.
3.
Wow, 3. Right, okay. You've taken that out. He is bleeding from there. There is, again, there's like also that like yellowy stuff you get when things have been grazed as well. You've basically gone for that.
So
that
I've gone
side.
to kick his leg out from under
And
him
he
while
sort
you're
of
taking
stumbles.
the shot.
You took
and
the shot.
I'm going for the sort of throat. This
How
time.
much damage did we, or how much did you get to hit him?
7.
Yes, you hit him. You've got 4 extras that time. He is rapidly running out of
12 dice,
his
Roger.
ability.
12 dice of bang.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Right.
7 damage.
Better than average.
Right. He...
That's through the throat this time.
Yeah. He poleaxes onto the floor, inches from the tablet.
Well,
I'm
you know,
going to
spike
grab
him,
his
spike
ankles
him,
and pull
spike
him back
him.
a little bit.
Yeah, can I... Now he's down, can I just run for him, pulling out the...
You can run through
I'm
there. He is still groaning and flailing.
dragging him backwards so he can't
Right,
touch the tablet.
make a strength roll to get him out
Strength
of
and
there. Strength and either athletics or brawl. I'll
I'll
probably
go with athletics
set.
because I don't have any ball.
He's not got much left at this point. He's got a
killing-
little bit, but not much.
I botch. Oh no, it's not a botch because I got a success.
Yes, you
I
just
got
failed.
I just failed this.
Right, Adam and Pete, he is still
1s, a 7
trying
and a
to...
4.
Are you going to try and kick his hand up where he can get it on the
I'm going
tablet?
to stand on his hand.
I want to move the tablet away. It's on
Okay,
an ice.
it's a nice-
That's cool.
Hold on. No.
Yeah, the Etherite way of...
Well, why don't we just move the thing he's going to move?
Right.
I prefer to stand on his hand.
Okay,
That's
make me a
also-
stand on his hand roll. He's down to his last dice here. He really
Just-
is.
I'm still trying to cancel the
Strength
magic
and
into
roll.
to take a roll or too much
No, you
concentration.
can... You can
To push the
Nice.
590.
right. You... The Etherite goes... and you stamp on his
I'm
hand.
gonna
tracing
stamp
with my
and I'm
pen
going
on
to
the
twist them.
tablet.
Right. Yeah. He's laying there. He's still sort of shaking. So there's blood coming out of all sorts of places. Like, this guy's brain is on the floor. You have... Masters are no longer really human on a lot of levels. He's
Yeah, no
still
shit. He's
stuttering
missing his head and
trying to
neck.
make words, and there's blood everywhere. Though the blood, as it's coming out, doesn't smell good, to be honest.
I'm not surprised.
Is he running over with a spike in his hand?
Yeah, it's in there.
As I stand on his hand, then I'm going to say, "This is the end of you."
Right, and he, yes, is continuing
Are
to
you going to put his feet?
choke everywhere. Right,
I'm going to flip him over so he's on his front, and then
stick
in the
spike in.
heart.
Right, mate,
Well,
what
I've taken out his brain and his throat. That leaves... Where else would you kill
Belly, belly,
someone?
belly.
Well, to be fair, as I said, you guys keep telling him, oh, these ones are vampires and werewolves. Well,
No. He's looking at it purely from a kill perspective. Headshot, brain. He's still going. Okay. Throat, win, air, still going. Heart?
He's just like,
We got these crucial things he has to do it eventually.
He was still-
Go for the
system
groin.
next and the kidney.
he was still alive. He was definitely not always still
Autonomic nervous
going.
system.
there is still something
Vagus
happening.
nerve next.
There
Yeah,
is still
so
something happening under his skin.
He is literally
as well.
going for the
It is-
best kill location.
Right. Okay. Make me a
Dex and melee.
strength and melee. I think
Yeah.
in this instance, because it's not tricky to hit him. You just got to get it in.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty 6 because sternums are a thing.
Okay.
All right, you're trying to put a spike through someone who's mostly disintegrated.
It's a shame it's not a bayonet.
Right, you go thump.
It's
Right.
a specialty.
When the stake goes in, he does stop juttering and moving. As I said, his brain is somewhere to the left of Abe. You can now
In bits.
see where this red stuff ran under the veins. It's now starting to burn out through the skin, and you can look down and see almost like these little gold-red rivulets running where the skin was, which look very similar to the colour scheme on the box of the bullet and the way that was carved in.
Cool.
And basically, even as he's sitting there, he doesn't like disintegrate, but sort of his edges get very frayed. It's almost like all the tiny blood vessels are just
Yeah.
disintegrating and taking the skin and everything with him. He's got a hole through his throat. He has a massive spike in his chest. The spike, when you put it in, is now gone super, super shiny, and if anyone even puts their hand near it, it feels cold.
I go to put my hand near it, take my hand away, and just stamp on it to make sure it goes fully.
I'm assuming I probably recoiled after jabbing it in
Yeah.
because of the temperature.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, but it literally as soon as you went in,
Yeah, I would have gone.
yeah.
Okay, well I'm going to stamp on it to try and have it
With the heaty coin.
The heaty coin. The heaty coin.
Heaty coin.
The heaty coin is still this sort of unpleasant ball of sort of fiery stuff, but it looks like it's burning apart and falling apart.
Okay, as long as it's not actually igniting the concrete.
No.
Hang on. So do we need to
It's
take this
scored the
guy with us to
concrete
keep the
quite
spike
badly.
in?
Yes, that's fine.
No, I was more thinking of. I was thinking, do we instead bury him where the tablet was?
Yes.
Well, we've got the thing to bury him under immense amounts
Also,
of
you
metal.
do have the slight problem of Molnir and the fact that someone needs to make a strength roll to move that.
Hang on. Oh, have I dropped it on the floor?
Well, you can kind of be holding it, but you're holding it like that.
You need a hand.
Yes.
You've still got the super strength from earlier.
I will
Also,
go and
it's
check
his hammer.
on.
It's a hammerhead.
I will go and check on the woman.
Right.
Right.
The hammerhead is yours. Nothing has ever been yours as much as this. It is yours. And even as you hold it, you can see... I mean, it's kind of like that sort of size at the moment. But if you think it could be different sizes, that sounds totally doable.
But it's got no handle at the moment.
No. But it's yours.
You're not going to put the end of the rifle.
It's hammerheads.
No, I think that would do bad things.
I think also the rifle would not cope. And even if the rifle did,
That'd be
no, you
hilarious.
couldn't use your bayonet specialty.
So what I'm saying, right? Hey, job for you. Make a rifle to use that as a bayonet.
Basically, the burning sphere thing is quite nasty. You're pretty certain, had it been its intended size, which was about 10 feet, you two would be toast.
Just stay away from the
Oddly, I
coin.
thought so would the tablet have been, but maybe he knew something you didn't about its durability.
Stay away from the coin, because it's probably going to burn for a while, but it'll eventually run out of energy.
It's like when someone's had one of those fancy, like, fire log things that's been cut, and it's...
Yeah.
So, like, the top bit's sort
But it
of
is
closed
like
in,
Abe
but the bottom
saying,
bit...
"Don't touch that really hot thing over there."
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Is this guy finally dead?
I think so. I'm going to...
Well,
he's what's the
Hey,
word?
stasis.
Torpedoed.
I'm gonna put
come with
another
me.
round through his face.
You can if you want.
Can you come
Well,
with
he
me
said
and drop this guy
probably,
in
so-
that hole, and then
You're going to the woman.
and then refill the drilled out bit behind us.
Probably could go
Collapse.
down there.
Why don't you set
Whatever.
this for like 25 minutes, half an hour, and like stick it in the
No,
ceiling and blow
I
it?
don't want to try. I don't want to destroy the body.
No, destroy the rock above to
That
collapse on
is
the body.
very, very unstable, chaotic effect. It is a very good chance it will destroy the body, which will release him, which
Okay.
is not what we want.
Better suggestion. Set it off in this room. No one will be able to get to said body.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say,
true.
Corridors leading
Let's do both.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Let's
I meant
see
in addition
entomb-
to.
entomb him.
Let's-
Well, I need to examine the spike and see what state it's in and how well preserved it'll be, because it only lasts until it rots away, if you remember. So anything
Yes.
I could do to preserve it's about.
Yeah.
And in ice stuff will rust, but slowish, because
Let's-
it needs
well,
temperature reaction. So.
No,
Well-
not incredibly slowly.
Let's. We've got a tablet that helps us do magic together, so let's
Yeah.
do stuff together and make this thing so he doesn't.
Right, so Pete's gone to inspect the woman. The other three of you are making some sensory magic effects, I'm assuming. So make me some sensory... Actually, no, we've chilled now at this point, literally. You can just sit there until they turn on it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
So basically,
Horses
Yeah, no, you can just sit there
and
till they
life,
go
I
up.
can do.
yeah. So I think our intention is reinforce this thing so it won't corrode,
Yeah.
Right.
and then drop half a mountain on top of him and it. Very, not actually on.
Ease a
Right.
mountain onto him.
Well, I can use probably
Make him an
horses to
inescapable
kind of
bomb
So-
shelter.
make it lighter
and then-
on the way down.
As-
As
We've got
you're
Matter Man over
all
there,
starting to work around the tablet, even if you're not consciously trying to, different rune sequences seem to occasionally have a sort of tracing line of black through them. And like, say, when you, with all of the senses known to man, start to do
And to us.
stuff, like, so when you're looking at your instruments, if he's trying to, check there must be a sphere he hasn't got, whatever, component.
Yes, there are probably
Several.
6.
Right.
Time,
Pick
life,
one.
mind, correspondence, entropy, or forces. Entropy
Okay,
would probably be a good one,
entropy.
actually, because I'm trying to see how it's going to decay.
You
and
can
things.
suddenly start seeing decay curves and things come up.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd seen kind of how your master could have set those instruments up for it, but it's not a thing you did. But you can start to see the readouts.
Yeah.
And however you think also, probably one of the weirder people of the experience for is probably you, because these guys are starting to... Because they're doing the dot magics that you've only just started to get access to. You can... Because they filter into your own paradigm. Oh, hang on, yeah, I see how that works, yeah. So if you hear him trying to do sort of Matter 2 effects to start mutating and changing and sort of tidying things up, you can start to feed that into however your own paradigm of matter works, and you start to see how that goes together. And it's almost like, in a way, working in the near vicinity of the tablet if you aren't meaning to collaborate could possibly be quite distracting. Because it keeps trying to anyway. You don't know if it has an off. Maybe it turns out it has an off. But
We haven't found it.
you haven't found it yet.
Okay. So,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Right.
Well, we could
Pete has gone
add
to
our
inspect the
time
woman.
together
I'm just
to
going to get her to the
make it
bathysphere so that,
to
and
make
make sure
it
she's
really
not dying or anything.
Right. She has had a massive, massive, massive paradox backlash.
On top of months of abuse.
On top of months of abuse. She's not dead yet, so therefore she's probably not going to die of it. Whether she will die of just sheer poor physical condition in the interim, you don't know. There's no way you can warm her up with the water still flooding out of everywhere. Well, you could, but they're all magical.
I've got forces too.
Yeah, you could try and do things like that, wrap stuff around her and try and... But you almost have to keep the effect running to keep it warm.
Sure.
Or you could see if the guys that do more life stuff might be able to help.
I just wanted to just make sure she's not dead.
No,
And,
she's
like,
not dead, but yeah,
move
she's
her
in...
where she's not lying
Well,
awkwardly on concrete.
you can pick her up. She weighs very little at this point,
My
despite being
feeling
quite
then at
tall.
this point might be that we divert some of our attention from the dead guy to her because he's not getting any deader. She might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll kind of pick her up and be like, I might need a bit of help.
From Roger, who has life and quite a lot of and some
looking at
medicine,
one.
I think, as well.
Hold on, is she a Nazi?
No.
No, she was one of his
She's the
captives.
sister of the 971, the captive guy.
Elsa
that was-
Garrett.
That was,
So,
yeah,
Not the sister of...
Elsa Garrett.
Okay,
Yeah,
put it down.
sister of
I'll
Elsa
have a
Garrett.
look.
She's Elsa Garrett.
Yeah.
Andrew Garrett was a brother.
Put it down, I'll have a look.
The typewriter in his lab was connected to her.
Oh, yes. Okay.
From a purely first AD normal people perspective, allowing for the fact that there's water gushing out of her existence, it's almost like the space that makes her up in reality is leaking water. And there's all these dead wildflowers in it. Her main problem is that she is extremely underweight. She's been very badly treated, and she's very, very cold. Which, unless someone can find a way of warming her up, she is not going to make... She's not going to drop dead
melted
now,
Can I use...
but she's not going to...
Forces can warm things up. Can I use that and life to try and increase her body temperature?
we can just use life to increase her body temperature.
Well, I've got
May as
forces
well
3 and
slightly-
life 2, so...
You can do it, yeah.
How about we come and, at least to start with, go and put her in the vicinity of that thing because
The melty coin.
Because
Yeah.
that thing's glowing
Warm,
hot.
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
go and
the
put
water
her
will
in
not last forever. It is a paradox effect, but it will not last indefinitely.
Well, I hope not.
Okay.
Because otherwise we
not
can't
gonna
take
have
her out
another-
of
There's
the
another, another question. So, to lessen the paradox effect, I understand
have her
my
legs poking
puppy
out.
can do something
Yes.
about that. I'm going to look at Ollie and go,
He's going to lick
do you
her
think
face.
you can help?
He will look.
I'm going to
at you
say,
a bit uncertainly.
little
and
dog,
look at
spirit
her.
dog, woman, help. In English, so I don't know whether it's going to
I'm
work.
just going to look at you like you're a retard.
What?
You didn't hear what they were saying to each other. The dog was talking to the werewolf.
You don't need to speak to him like he's stupid, Ollie.
No, they were talking like
Can,
that.
is there anything you can do to help, Ollie?
Right, Ollie walks up, and basically because he may also be doing other familiar stuff as well. But because I have personal experience of trying to get a family dog, which is to help with these scenarios, he basically goes and sits on her. But he is nice and warm. He probably is also doing magic stuff as well, but he's just sitting on.
Okay, so
Love magic.
I'm getting the feeling that
He's trying to do something, yes.
Okay,
but
all
he's
right.
also just like Lady Cold, make Lady Warm.
Okay, well, if he's doing something as well,
He's
fine.
doing something as well, and also, sharing body heat.
That's fine.
getting
Okay, can I?
And getting wet.
Okay, can I?
He
Use,
looks like he's not mad keen about the wet, but he's prepared to overlook it.
Can I use life to try and help her?
Yes, you can definitely use life to
Can
try
I
to
use
warm her
can
up.
I use
So
life
difficulty
to support
5.
his life?
Yes, you can
2.
use. In fact, yes, you can.
No, I really can't.
Colin has passed seeking and yet cannot roll magic today. Apparently.
He's finally got 2 dice.
They keep
He's
rolling
screwed them all
ones.
up.
I got 2. I got a 7 and an 8.
Marvellous. So yes, you can help.
That's half an avatar thing.
You're like, oh, that works. Yeah, it's it's more that you found another dice only for it to always roll 1.
It's not working out for
You
me.
need some more entropy.
Right.
Oh wow.
22-10.
Right. Okay, we're doing well. Right. So yes.
10 past 10. 10 past 10.
I thought you said 20 to 10. Or
No, I said
20 to
22 10.
10.
Which is 20 to 10.
But you can see why I thought that might be 20 to 10.
realised that's what you said. Yeah.
Right.
Past 10.
10 past 10.
So, what do we think? You have done the immediate things. Do we want to come back for another session and tie up loose ends? Because I will be honest, I don't want to go on super late because I've got a really long day tomorrow. But
fine.
what do we want to do?
Yeah, we can come back for one more
Yeah,
session that'll be
come
like
back for
half an
another
hour
session.
playing and then
Yeah.
chatting.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, yeah, even if it's only like a half-hour wrap-up.
We could do the half-hour wrap-up, and then we could do a little bit of
Prologue and
Prologue,
chat
epilogue.
about characters and things like that.
Yeah. And also briefly, discuss the epilogues of where people are going, what's happening to them. Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
marvellous.
Rufus is
Great.
going off to try and find where his twin got is being reincarnated.
Yes.
I think that's basically going to be his
Give the
last one.
cold steel to more Nazis.
Well, we shall see. But
To be
yes,
fair,
I
actually,
think
Rufus might help with the end of the war effort first, because he figures there's no particular rush. She's going to be born at some point, and then it's going to be a few months.
yes.
It's going to be a few years before I can have a conversation with her anyway.
Ron came to kill wizards and kill Nazis, and he's all out of wizards.
Right, so we
my
shall
God.
leave it there. There shall be the party have successfully taken down a Nazi, and we shall briefly.
Just the one.
Just the one.
That's just the other 3 Nephandi.
Oh yeah, they're out there somewhere. That's Chronicle 2, 3 and 4.
Hey, we got him. We got the amber, and we killed the guy.
Yeah, we got the one guy,
You
but
did?
there were 3 others.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, I know, but
you got-
we had the bullet and the spike to kill that guy.
You did, you
We
did.
shot him in the head with
Yeah.
the bullet and put the spike
And
in his
also,
arm.
to be fair, he's probably was the more organised of the Nephandi Nazis, and also the one that was after the artifact that meant they could all work together. So
true.
you know, you have done a significant
Now we've
favour to
killed
the
him,
war
though,
effort.
they're going to be quite annoyed. But anyway,
That's
Well,
fine,
that's
we'll kill
assuming
them
they
too.
liked. It's assuming they liked him, which there is no guarantee among
Well, that's true.
Nephandi that
And or
this is
they
true.
might decide to go to ground because they see which way the wind's blowing.
maybe.
And it is the late summer of '44. So
Yeah,
is.
the war's going against them,
Oh,
and
yes.
their, and one of their major allies has just disappeared.
It's just been
Yes.
off by a bunch of noobs.
Hey, speak for yourself. I've been doing this for ages. Just mainly accounting for the Order of Hermes.
Right, we shall leave it there for tonight, and we shall do a brief epilogue of you getting yourselves out of the mountain in one piece.
Cool. Okay, thank you very much for joining us for episode 12 of Masters and Monsters. I like the fact that we will end with episode 13.
Yes,
That's quite cool.
That's nice for a Mage game.
At least that wasn't when we had the final fight.
Yes. No, that would be a bit
And
worrying.
this is how we all die.
And we shall escape
Yes.
next week.
Don't forget to check out our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the links below for our Discord, our Patreon and for our big subscriber giveaway if it hasn't passed the 20th of December 2018. Because I know you might be watching this back later on. What else we got to say? I think that's pretty much it, isn't
Yeah.
it? Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for some more Masters and Monsters in 2019.
No.
No, more than 2 weeks.
2 weeks'
weeks.
time
In the new year.
is like
The 27th of
The
December.
27th.
It is.
December.
In the
So
new year.
no, in the new
Oh,
year,
yeah.
in 2019. I was already. I think my mind was already doing that, but I hadn't figured out the two things should
Yeah.
coincide.
we'll discuss it.
We'll figure that
Yeah.
out later. And
At
we'll
some point.
See you in
At some point in the
2019.
early part of 2019.
Bye.
Bye.